So shall I go ahead, Aditya? Okay.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
No, WhatsApp group. By that he meant that if there is any unofficial WhatsApp group for that reason. Okay, of you guys. So not ours. We don't have any WhatsApp group as such. Okay. So welcome everybody. Good evening. My name is Ashwin Badiga, and along with me is Dr. Aditya Chandel. So we are the course faculty for the BDM Capstone project. So I would let Aditya introduce himself first, and then I would go with it. So Aditya, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so good evening to all. And first of all, I would like to welcome those who joined, those who are in the first term of their BDM Capstone project. There are a lot of students, maybe they are from previous term, but wait a minute. I think somebody's mic is on. Can you please mute yourself?
We request everybody to mute yourself, or Aditya, can you use the controls and just mute everyone? And please do not put
Yeah, yeah,
things in the chat because it will be disturbing. So we keep getting this thing. So maybe we can disable the chat and we can mute everyone.
yeah. So during the session, please don't unmute yourself. If you have any doubts at the last, you can just unmute yourself by raising your hands and just discuss the points. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for us to cover everything. So yeah, so welcome to all. Welcome to the BDM Capstone project. So myself Aditya, Dr. Aditya Chandel. So I'm the course faculty for BDM project, and there are a lot of rumors for the BDM project. We came to know from some of the students, but it is not like that. It is basically the approach in this project. You are going to use all the skills you are learning in a course curriculum like machine learning, different courses, you're learning a lot of things. So what you have to do, you have to implement all the things in the data. That's it. Nothing else is there. So don't worry about the project. We are there with you all. We have a team of nearly 8 to 10 experts who are just evaluating your reports, right? And basically, we have evaluated a lot of reports, nearly 8,000 plus reports till now. So there is no scope like our TAs or whoever is working on a back end, they are skilled enough to evaluate your report and give you the comment. So don't worry and don't hesitate about anything. Just if you are facing any technical problem, most of the problems we have included or we have covered in the book we have shared, in the documents we have shared, every even a small points we have shared in the document. Like if you go through the document, what I'll suggest, if it is not possible to just go through the document in a digital mode, you take a hard copy of the document, right? Take a hard copy, carry it with you. Those who are working professionals, they can carry the document with them, like when they are traveling in a train or when they are traveling in a bus, right? They can just go through the document in that particular time because it is not possible to just review the document digitally every time. So what we'll suggest is take the hard copy of the document and keep it with you. And everything is covered in the document, even a small things from the starting onwards we have given. In case if you are facing any difficulties, we have a Sunday sessions as well. And in Sunday sessions, we are mostly, they are not recorded sessions. The reason is that like we are discussing one-to-one problem. So because of the confidentiality of the students' project, we are not just putting it live or putting it on the YouTube. We are recording for our reference, but we are not just putting in online or in some other modes, right? So it's better you can just, if you have any doubts, you can just attend the sessions. And these are the things from my side. And maybe Dr. Ashwini will cover all the details about the project with you within nearly, he will spend nearly 1.5 hours or 2 hours with you all. So after that, we can take a questions if you have. It is not possible since the crowd is too much. I am seeing like nearly we have 320 or 330 students are there. So it is not possible to address each and every doubt now, but most of your doubts will be cleared during the sessions when Dr. Ashwin will go through the rubrics, through the documents for the primary and secondary data analysis. Most of your doubts will be clear. But even though if you have personal doubts, maybe I'll suggest you can just join the Sunday session and just discuss the doubt over there. So wish you all the best. I'll just over to you, Dr. Ashwin, and he'll continue from now.
Yeah. So thanks a lot, Aditya.
Thanks.
So firstly, request you all to put your hands down, like don't raise it now at this stage because the questions will be only taken at the end. And also, please don't put questions at this point of time in the chat box because we would only be taking the questions at the end. Okay. Thanks a lot to Aditya. My name is Dr. Ashwin Badiga. I'm a professor, assistant professor of marketing and sales at ESX School of Management, Paris, France. I'm based at France, and I'm the course faculty along with Aditya for the BDM Capstone project. So the next 1.5 hours, what we are going to do is that I'm going to give you a brief about what this BDM Capstone project is and how is that you need to approach it. Okay, so this is something which we'll be discussing. There are different pathways. We would also speak about it. I request all the students to mute yourself. Shrutika, please mute yourself because I can hear some background noises. Okay, so now I hope I can hear some background noises. Okay, so I hope that you all have got this copy of the book. Last week we sent you a QR code, and if you just have a QR code, you can just download this. So this is the corporate version, which was launched on 1st of June, which has 15 different capstone projects of the students done in the last term. We are going to launch this version of the book called Capstone Chronicles. If you look at the page numbers, it is almost 250 pager book, yet to be launched. We are still working on the corrections, so expected to launch by this month end. And so let's try to understand what is a capstone project, or as to why we do it. Now, what is a BDM capstone project? So BDM capstone project is an independent project which you do, wherein you try to collect data pertaining to a business problem. So what you have to essentially do is that you have to reach out to a business, and this business could be structured or unstructured. Now, what do I mean by structured businesses? Like, your companies like manufacturing, automobile, which have data and other things in place. They have repositories in place where they can make certain assessments. Whereas when you look at these unorganized sectors, it is like, for example, your kirana shops or your iron shops or things like that, which do not actually maintain data. So this presentation which I'm giving now is for analysis with primary data, and after this I will explain what you do with secondary data. So what you do is that you reach out to a business. So you decide which businesses that you need to reach out to. So we strongly recommend unstructured business. And the reason why we say unstructured business is that you can actually help them out, right? Because large businesses definitely have systems in place. With unstructured businesses, they have a lot of challenges, and in fact you can actually make a very good contribution. So that is why we kind of focus more on unstructured. Now, the data that you collect from this, when you reach out to a business, when you speak to them, try to identify their problems and collect the data, that is referred to as primary data collection, which means that you're not downloading the data from online sources like Kaggle or GitHub, but you are reaching out to a business, structured or unstructured, trying to identify the problems they face, and then you are collecting data pertaining to that problem. So the next step that we need to understand is what is happening in this particular process. So what happens is that when you meet a business, it's just not that you don't go directly and ask for data. So maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks from now, we will do a session on how you have to reach out to a business. How is that you need to pitch or ask for data? That is very, very important, because most of the students, what they do is that they simply go out and they say that give us the data. So nobody would be willing to do it, right? So I have one of my earlier videos on YouTube. I would be sending the link after this class. But however, we will also have a session maybe 2 or 3 weeks from now, wherein we will explain as to how you need to pitch. How is that you need to convince the business owner to get this thing done. We are taking insights from professional B2B selling, and I'm using that because I'm a faculty of sales. So I would integrate sales along with the BDM Capstone project and kind of draw parallels and show you as to how this works. So whenever you reach out to a business, the first thing you have to do is prepare field notes. Now, what is field notes? So let's say that you reach out to a business owner or a manager. The first thing you have to do is, whom did you meet, and what kind of what whom did you meet, and what kind of when you meet them, you kind of have to make notes. The person whom you met, and what was discussed between them, what is the designation of the person, so on and so forth. And then you have to understand what is the kind of business. So if you look at one of the document that I've shared, I say that businesses can be B2C or B2B or both. Now, what is B2C? Business to consumer. Let's say that you buy from Amazon, it is B2C. Amazon is a business, you're a consumer, it is B2C. But what is B2B, which is business to business? So let's say that the exchange or the transaction is happening between two businesses. Then it is referred to as B2B. What we have done is that there is a document which tells you what is the difference between B2B and B2C, and I'll touch upon that in some point of time. And then what you try to understand, some businesses can be in both, right? For example, Amazon is one example where it is both into B2B as well as B2C. and you try to speak to them and identify the problems that they encounter. So this is what is very, very important. Not asking for the data, reach out to them, introduce yourself. I'll tell you the steps that how you do all that. That is that we park for 2-3 weeks from now as to how you have to approach. But the first step that you do is reach out to them, try to have a conversation, introduce yourself, and try to understand the problems that they encounter. And there are so many things, etc., so on and so forth. uh, we always insist on the data collection. Now, what kind of data you need to collect once you identify a problem or problems? Because when you speak to businesses, they list down the problems that they face. You decide which problem is something which is more appealing to you, and you kind of use a data centric approach, just like you do it in business data management theory course. So if you have not done BDM theory course, it would always be advisable to complete BDM theory course and then do the project. But even if you're doing it parallelly, it is fine, because as long as it is an easy course, which means you can understand well, and if you're able to kind of focus, then you can do it. Now, what you do next is that you need to provide different details about the various variables collected as a part of data collection. Now, let's say that a business kind of tells you, the owner says that the sales is going down, right? So if the sales is going down, then there are certain variables that you need to collect so that you can make an assessment as to why it is happening. Maybe one would be the product or service portfolio that they have, what is the pricing that they have, how much is the sales happening in a particular month. So these are the different variables that you do. Once you get this data, what you do is that, let's say that you have a data for a certain time period, we insist that the minimum time period for data collection, there was a question on this as well, it should not be less than 3 months. Okay, so in some cases, you may need even for an year. In some cases, you may need it for 6 months, but the minimum time period is for 3 months, because less than that, you will not be able to see any deviation, or what do we call as, you will not be able to deduce any insights from that. Now, once that is done, what you do is you clean the data. Now, why do you do data cleaning? Data cleaning is done to identify if there are any outliers, or if there are any, if there is any data which is erroneous. Because if you proceed with data analysis, let's say that you don't clean the data and you just proceed with that particular analysis, what would happen is that your data, it's going to be erroneous. The results that you get is going to be really bad, and which means that the insights that you give is actually wrong. Now, once you clean the data, the next step is to analyze the data. Now, how to do an analysis of data? You do analysis of data similar to what is taught to you in the BDM course. Don't use simple Pareto charts and things like that, because every business knows that their 80% of the problems is because of this 20% of these issues. So everybody knows the 80-20 rule. So we have kind of given you a handbook wherein we have shown what different graphs could be used. For example, if it is a qualitative versus quantitative, you could use a box and whisker plot. So if it's quant with quant, you could use a scatter plot. So we've shown different things. So that is what you need to do. And once you do a kind of detailed analysis, what you do next is that you get insights from this, and which you have to jot down very nicely. And based on the insights which is obtained from your analysis, now you're going to tell the business what is that they should be doing, what is that they need to avoid, and what is that they need to keep doing. And these insights should be novel. Keep this in mind. If you tell them something that they already know, it will not add much value. So this is what is very, very important. Now, this is how the flow of the project is. These documents are already with you. I have already sent it to you. So anyways, this is how the flow of the project is. So this particular project has 4 stages of submission. So what are these 4 stages of submission? So we start with proposal. I'll come back. Next step would be to explain what is needed in the proposal. So if you're able to understand or hear me, please give a thumbs up so that I can just understand that you're with me on the same page. Okay. So what happens next is that you have a proposal submission. So the proposal submission is kind of scaled down to 20%. So every report is evaluated for 100 marks, and it is scaled down to what we call as 20%. For midterm, you have again a report which I'm going to tell you what it is all about. It will be scaled down to 20%. You have a final submission, which is a big report around 18 to 20 pages, scaled down to 40%. And finally, you have a Viva OC, and then it is scaled down to 20%. So the 100% split is 20, 20, 40, and 20, with majority marks for your final submission. One thing that you need to keep in mind is that if you have defined a particular problem in the proposal phase, you will have to use the same throughout, which means that you have to work on one problem and build on it for the midterm, build on it for the final, and then give the same thing for the Viva. You cannot work on different problems. So it is one company, The problems that you have identified, two or three or one if it is broader, two or three if it is like shorter problems. So this is what you will have to keep in mind. Now, what is the timeline? So we have different timelines. So every time when you submit a proposal, the proposal submission for primary data, the proposal submission window is open between 1st to 5th of every month. Every month 1 to 5 is the window for a proposal submission. Okay, the window, and it would be evaluated by 10th of every month. The window for the midterm submission is 6th to 10th of every month, and the window for the final submission is 11 to 15 of every month. So typically, let's say that you start from August. Our recommendation is that August, if your proposal gets cleared, submit your midterm in September, and then if it is cleared in September, then you submit your final in October. So typically, a fresher who kind of starts it takes people. What we've seen is that students typically take 3 to 6 months to complete the project. But this is how the timelines are. So you may ask me that, can I submit immediately? We don't recommend you to do that, because the comments should be given, digest the comments, try to understand what has been given in those comments, work on it, and then that is how you have to do it. And the vivas happen at the end of the month, so which will be intimated to you by the team. So what is needed? So here something I put in red. So it is called as a declaration statement. When you submit your proposals, this is very, very important that you are giving something called as a declaration statement. And Dr. Aditya has prepared a document. So we have given you in the email that I sent last week, we have given the first page, which is declaration statement, wherein you're going to declare this project is something which has been made by you. You edit to the this thing norms, whatever that is there, with data sharing, so on and so forth, and that this is an independent project and not something which is copied. So let's say that if a student kind of copies and is caught at some stage, you know the student, he or she would receive a fail grade, because what we have also seen is that at some point of time, the student has kind of submitted proposal from some students, he has copied and kind of submitted to us, and it did not get detected, but in the final we kind of found out that it was copied, so the student receives a fail grade. So ethical integrity is very, very important in academia. It is very, very important, so keep this in mind. This is very important. Any queries related to the project, please email me and Aditya. Any queries related to the project, but anything related to your payments and registrations, please do not trouble us. Send the email to sindhuja@study.iitm.ac.in, because she's the person who is in charge of this. And before sending mails, make sure that you have gone through all the documents and attended live sessions. So let's say that you've not attended the live sessions, you've not gone through the documents, please don't send us an email, because we're not going to respond. So you have to respect what is being done. So what you are supposed to do is that you need to ensure that okay, that you've gone through all the documents, and despite that, if you have issues, you can always reach out to us, and we are very quick with our responses. So what is needed in a proposal is what you may ask me next, right? So the proposal is pretty simple. The proposal has to be 4 to 5 pages long, okay, excluding your cover page and things like that. Okay, so what we have done is, in the portal, we have made it like we've kept the set the upper limit to 8. So you have your index page, the cover page which you will be putting, and your declaration, that is not counted. Other than that, 5 pages, which means 4 to 5 pages. So typically it could be between 6 to 8 pages. And the first thing that you need is declaration statement, which is very, very important. If there is no declaration statement in the proposal, it is rejected right away. Second thing is that there should be two objectives. That means you have to identify two different problems, but we are okay even if you go with one, provided it is broad. The next step that we do is the most important step in academia is, I was mentioning about ethical integrity. And what we do is that we kind of check it through Authenticate or Turnitin. So this is a plagiarism software. In the portal itself, we have integrated this. So what happens is that when we put your reports, when you submit your report, we will get to know what is the similarity percentage. So suppose if you have used Gen AI for writing reports, or if you have done something like that, then what we do is that it is desk rejected. The moment it is greater than 20%, we don't give you the comments. We just say plagiarism and desk rejected. Okay, so that is something which is important. Now, in the proposal, you need the following contents, and there is a document explicitly mentioning what is this, which I'll come to you in maybe 15-20 minutes from now. So you need to have an executive summary. And what is this executive summary? Executive summary is nothing but it summarizes your report. What is your report all about, and what should be there in executive summary? I have a document on it. You then explain about the organizational background. You kind of provide insights. You kind of give the problem statement or the objectives. You break it down, provide a background of the problem. What are the problem solving approach methods you're going to use? Now you may ask me, okay, I have identified the problem. How can I kind of tell this right away? So you're saying that, okay, this is the problem. These are the variables I'm going to collect to solve this particular problem. And this is the likely approach that I would be using. So you're just going to say that this is a likely approach. This approach may change when you kind of proceed to the midterm, but it's okay. You are going to say that, okay, I have got quantitative variables and qualitative variables. These are the likely plots which I'm going to do. And this is the likely analysis which I'm going to conduct. Now, once that is done, what is very important also is to give something called as work breakdown structure. Now, this concept of work breakdown structure comes from project management. Now, what is this WBS? WBS is your work breakdown structure. So you're breaking down your work and saying, okay, this is what I've done. I've done these interviews, in this interview, or I had an interaction. What did I do in this interaction? You're breaking it down. What did you do there? Then you kind of ask the problems and what is that you did post that. So you're breaking down this into parts. So let's say you have to construct a home. So let's say that, the foundation is the most important thing. To make a foundation, what is that you need? Breaking it down. To raise a pillar, what are the different jobs you need to do? Break it down. So that is what WBS is. And then you need to have something called as a Gantt chart. Now, Gantt chart is something like a sequence as to when you're going to complete your project. Again, it is like, based on your interaction with your business owner, you're going to tell that, okay, this is my likely timeline, 3 to 6 months, whatever that you want, and the expected outcome. So again, you may ask me, many of you, that how can I tell the outcome? It is just based on your assessment, right? You now have your problem statement with you clearly. So what is that you're likely to achieve from this particular project is what we call as expected outcome. Okay, so this is done. I will take on all the questions only at the end, so please do not raise your hands. I will take it only towards the end. The next step which we have is what we call as midterm submission. Now, in midterm submission, it is 8 to 10 pages long. Okay, and it is evaluated for 100 marks and scaled down to 20. Again, the same criterion: plagiarism greater than 20% is a straight reject. And then you have to do all these things: executive summary and your title. Now, you may ask me, like, Ashwin, as to why is it repeating? Now, the answer is here. Students might see that some sections are similar across submission. So basically what happens is that the executive summary that you've given during the proposal will not remain the same, because during the proposal stage, you're giving your idea and you're going to say, this is what I'm going to do. Whereas in the midterm, you're going to work with the actual data set. And that is when you write, your executive summary refined. So that is why it is repeating again. Now, the most important thing for primary is the following: proof of originality. Since many of them could fudge, we are very, very particular about this. So let's say that we need a photograph, a letter from the organization, kind of authenticating that, yes, they have done the project with you, you have done the project with them. Some photographs and videos. There has to be a short video of interaction with the owner. I also have a document on this which I sent you. And once that is done, you have metadata and descriptive stats. What is metadata, descriptive stats? I have provided a link, revisit it. But to put it in a nutshell, to kind of explain it in simple words, let's say that you have identified your problem. To solve that problem, you need different variables. Now, this different variables that you kind of use to solve it is your metadata. For these opening stocks, or what we call as other things like that, you're going to compute your mean, median, mode, and all these things come under descriptive stats. Okay. Now, once you do this, you clean it. And in the midterm, what you're going to do is give us some 3 to 5 graphs, which you think is very, very important. Just 3 graphs or 2 graphs, and kind of explain. Because if you look at the midterm report, it's just pretty small, right? It is just 8 to 10 pages. And then you're just going to kind of, based on the insights that you've got, you're kind of going to give us an assessment. You're saying that why is the trend coming like this? One more thing which I want to emphasize here is a common mistake which students make is randomly draw graphs. So whenever you're drawing a graph, it should not be drawn randomly. You have to justify why is that you're drawing a particular graph, why is this the best choice of graph, and why are these variables considered, and how is it likely or going to help you solve your business problem. So this is something which is very, very important. Okay, so this justification is needed at every stage. Without that, if you just draw graphs and give it to us, you will lose your marks. Secondly, please don't draw Pareto charts. It is of no value, because at the end of the day, every business knows that 20% of the problems causes 80% of your issues, right? I mean, 20% is contributing to your 80% losses, things like that. Then you have your final submission. Now, this is where your final movie is. It is 18 to 20 pages long. The submission is kind of for 100, but it is scaled down to 40. And again, we look at the plagiarism. And then this, what you're going to do is you're going to do some graphs, 6 or 7 graphs, and you're going to explain everything in detail. You're going to give us a very good report. Okay. Now you may ask me, which tool could I use for analysis? You can use any tool for analysis. Simple Excel should do the job for you. If you want, you can use R, you can use Python, Tableau, whatever that you want. Okay. Tool is not a problem. What we really want is what was the problem that was identified, and how is that you're solving that problem, what kind of insights you're giving. Now once you clear all the stages, we have a viva voc, and viva voc is like, the number of slides to be less than 10. So typically, the students tend to finish. What we have seen over the last 4 years, 3 years, is that the average time for completing it is approximately 4 to 5 months. So it's in between that. Majority of the students do it in that particular range. So this is what we do, and you have your viva oc, and once it is done, you're good to go. I mean, you will get a feeling that you have accomplished really something. Now, there are certain reference books which I want to strongly recommend. It is something worth having in your personal library. I also am an avid reader. Aditya is an avid reader. So we recommend that you have this. It's up to you. But these books will help you understand and enhance your understanding of these concepts. First is Malhotra and Das on market research, a very, very good book. Statistics for Business and Economics by Paul Newbold, one of the best books in statistics. Strongly recommend. For those working in the domain of services, suppose your business is in the domain of services, you have to, the best book for you is Services Marketing by Christopher Lovelock, and Operations Management by Lee J. Krajewski. So suppose you're working on an operations problem, let's say that inventories, opening stock, closing stock, reorder points, so on and so forth. This is what you're going to do. So this is analysis with primary data. Now let's go to analysis with secondary data. Now what happens is that some of you who are working professionals may not want to do primary data, given that it takes a lot of time. In such cases, there is a second pathway which is called as analysis with secondary data, and we strongly recommend that you don't do this, because this actually does not add value. But we brought in this given that some of them were not wanting to do the project, so that is why this pathway was brought. However, there is the amount of work that is required is more or less the same. The only difference is that the student can download data from the websites. You can download the data from the website. The process remains the same, but just that you're not reaching out to the business, but you're going to a website. You're just, everything that is there in place, you're picking up from there. You're picking the data set from there, and you're doing the analysis. Do not copy paste the graphs from those things, because the process is still the same. But here, there is, since it is secondary data, what we've done is that there are only 2 stages of submission, and that is why you just have 2 grades, which is D and E. Okay, so other than that, there are no grades. So there are only 2 stages of submission. You have a proposal, which is again the same thing. You don't have a midterm, then you have a final. Okay, so we have given here what is needed, and you have a final, and then you have something called as viva voc, which is being done. Now, for proof of originality, obviously we don't need photos and pictures, but what you have to do is that the repository from where you took the data, that is needed. Okay, that is what is very, very important. And in this particular case, you're not going to get any marks, since it is D grade or E grade only. There are only 2 possible grades in secondary data. If you opt for secondary data, there are only 2 grades. Now let's say that you think that, okay, it is secondary data and we will just do it something like that. It's a mistake, because secondary data has more rejections than primary data. Typically in a primary data for proposals, the rejections are around 40 to 50% for proposals. It comes to midterm, it is again around 45%. When it comes to final, it comes down to around 50%. But then, projects, when you do it seriously, you're putting your understanding to test. We strongly recommend that you do with that pathway. However, if you do not want to do that, we are okay, and this is the second pathway which we have given to you. Okay, the only difference is that you're collecting the data directly from GitHub or Kaggle and things like that, and you are only eligible for D and E grades, nothing that. So the effort required is the same, so do not waste your time. Now, there was a question on proof of originality. So what is that which is needed in proof of originality? So that is why we just made this particular document, and we thought that this should be kind of clarified. So the first thing that we need is video interaction with the business owner. This is not needed for secondary data. So you can see that for secondary data, you just have to tell us what the repository is. So you may ask me, what is that you would be discussing? You can discuss somewhere between 3 to 8 minutes. It can be in any language that you want. Okay, it could be in your native language, it could be in Kannada, it could be in Tamil, it could be in Hindi, it could be in Bengali, any language. Okay, And what should be discussed? You can ask a short intro, problem business is facing, what did they do to solve it? Was it recurring or one time? You understand what recurring is? Is this a problem which occurs continuously, or is it something that is an isolated first time incident? If it is a recurring problem, what is it that the business do to solve it? Or if they try to solve it, why is that it is not getting solved? And what are their expectations from this particular project? Okay. The most important thing is that pictures, images, and videos both are needed. Let's say that you give an image and not a video, reject. Similarly, if you give us an image, but a video is like, it's done on a Gmeet where we cannot kind of verify things, reject. And in addition to that, you need letter from the firm with letter stamp and sign. Now, this may not be available with unstructured business. In such cases, you can draft a letter and get their signature. But in case, okay, people are hesitant to share this, let's say, then what you have to do is your point number 1 and 2 has to be very, very strong. This is very, very much needed. And how to provide all this in the report? Simple things. Submit this as a Google Drive link and give us free access. I mean, this is very important. Let's say that you give us a Drive link and there is no access, report gets rejected. And for secondary projects, I've written these things. And please don't upload this on free sites and things like that. There are a lot of documents Aditya and I have created for this. So now let me come back to the proposal as to how you need to phrase, right? So this is very, very important. So before you make a submission, the first step you have to do is attend all the live sessions. Okay, so that is the first and foremost thing. As a student, this is your responsibility to attend live session and read the rubrics. Also read the book which we have sent, Quid Pro Quo. Have a look at it. Any report which is submitted without name and roll number is desk rejected. This is something which you need to keep in mind. Every submission should strictly adhere to the rubrics. If you write on your own without adhering to the rubrics, most of the rejections, 50% that happens is because students do not adhere to the rubrics and write on their own. We don't accept it. Okay. We would prefer Times New Roman 12 1.5 left right justification, exactly the similar fonts the way I have used. So suppose if you're using fonts like number 14 to increase the page length, or if you're giving a lot of spacing or kind of putting images to increase the page length, it will be rejected. So keep this in mind. So that is why it is given. Now, what kind of titles you have to use? I've shown you what the sample titles is. And it is very, very important to have a good title because it catches the eye of the reader. You don't say that, okay, I'm computing profits for a idli vada shop, increasing performance of a ABC company, wanting to check why is perfect retention not happening. Perfect retention is a myth, right? It can never happen. Now, once these things are done, once your title is done, the next step is an executive summary. Okay, so what is an executive summary? Executive summary, as I said, summarizes your report, and it should be between 200 to 250 words, which kind of summarizes everything in the report. What is the business? What was the problem? What was the description? What was the kind of tools that you used for solving it? You kind of write an executive summary for your project. And then never say that I'll find loopholes in the business, increase the firm sales, so on and so forth. It is not possible to do. Whatever we do is a small drop in the ocean. So be very careful when you write, and write it in a very nice way. Show it to your parents, show it to your friends, take feedback, but make sure that you don't copy from each other, because if you copy from each other, what happens is that you may clear at stage 1, but at one stage, if any student is caught copying, even till the viva OC, if it is detected, the student gets a fail grade, not only for the BDM capstone project, but also for the BDM theory course. So please keep this in mind. Okay. Now, the next thing is to provide background of the company. Now, what is this background of the company? To tell more about the company, who is there in the company, what is their product or service portfolio, how many employees they have, locations they are into, etc. If it is a structured business like manufacturing, IT, they have a vision and mission statement. What is mission statement? The basic purpose of existence. Vision is the statement of future reality. But obviously, if it is a kirana shop, unstructured business, they don't have these things. You can help them craft if you want to. Then what you have to do is that do not ask the owner for the data directly. This is what most of the students make mistakes. Okay. uh, I also, when we kind of sent emails, I and Aditya also sent an email on how to write emails, because most of the students, they don't even know to write emails. An email is sent just like you're giving us an order. That is not acceptable. It is always essential that you remain polite, you are sympathetic, and you're professional. So this is extremely important. You have to respect each other. Only when you respect one party, the other party will give you respect. If you simply write an email saying that do it as soon as possible, without reading things, without doing your homework, please don't expect any help from us. And we are known to be very strict with these things, guidelines. You can check from your senior students as well who have completed that. We respond extremely quickly. At the same time, we don't bend to all these things. Okay. Now, once this is done, you have your sample objectives, how to write I've given here. Data collection process. What kind of data to collect? Now, again, the kind of data that you collect depends upon what is the problem that you have defined in first place, or what is your problem objective. Now, let's say that a firm is facing stock out. You understand what stock out is? There was one particular company, let's say medical shop or pharmaceutical shop, where they were facing stockouts. In this case, what details you would be needing? It's like, you need the opening stock, closing stock, buying price, selling price, demand, forecast, EOQ, economics of order quality, so on and so forth. So you need these variables. These are the minimum set of variables or the metadata that you need to help you answer that particular problem. Without these, you cannot do it. Don't draw Pareto charts. If you draw this, it's a zero. Some of the sample graphs that you can kind of think of, we have given you this. For the proposal, I just want to reiterate, it is not needed for the proposal, but I've just shown you how it is like. So these are the kind of sample charts we explain, and we have also given some documents, and this is how a work breakdown structure is done. I want to also tell the students that if you submit a report without any of the head, let's say that we have asked for 6 7 heads in a report, and you submit a report without WBS or Gantt chart, it is just like there's no one part. The one part is removed. We don't want that. If you do such things, what we do is that we reject your reports. Okay, so it has to be very very clear. So I've kind of given you this. So this is what you have to do, and then you write what is the expected outcome. At the proposal stage, it is too early, but you can certainly say, with the kind of problem that you have got, what is that you wish to accomplish. Okay, that is something which you can do, and definitely as and when you progress, it will refine. The next thing is some important points to avoid desk rejection is graphical analysis is provided from the midterm, not needed for the proposal. Keep in mind, adhere to the rubrics very, very strictly. 90% of the students who have kind of adhered to the rubrics have kind of passed directly. They've completed in 3 months. But people who don't adhere to the rubrics and use their own rubrics, they will definitely not pass this one. All the documents should have page number, figure number, table number, everything. It's important. Applicable from the midterm. Whenever you draw a graph, tell us why is that you chose this. How is this helping address the business problem? Why is this the best choice of graph? For example, let's say that we want to find out the literacy rate in different states of India. Okay, so you're now clubbing qualitative with quantitative. So there are, on the x-axis you have the different states, and on the y-axis you have the literacy rates. The best graph here would be a box and whisker plot, and I would explain why I used a box and whisker plot. Okay, so this is how you justify it, and then based on the analysis that you do, you're going to say that, okay, this is how the trend is looking like, perhaps this is the reason. Now you can kind of give these reasons based on the analysis that you see, or you always have the opportunity, once you do an analysis, to go back to the business and say that, boss, I'm seeing something unusual here, why do you think this is the case? Reach out to them and try to tell them why it is, so on and so forth. We strongly recommend you that you read the books that we have given. This is very important. Simply do not do the projects for time pass, because it really adds value. And I also want you guys to go back and check the code HR videos. You can just check the video of June 1st towards the end, especially, wherein the CEOs of the company, I couldn't go, but Aditya was there, Dr. Aditya was there, and the CEOs of the company, the people who had come from the top level, they said that while simple things can actually make a lot of difference, right? And especially with unstructured businesses, they don't have much of an idea. Okay, so my family is also into unstructured business, so they don't have much of an idea. There is kind of fear. So the most important thing is how you convince them, which is something which we'll do in 2 weeks from now. But then, when you do something for an unstructured business, it actually helps them save. You're actually kind of helping them with their business, and you're actually making a contribution to the society. So this is done. Okay. Now, there is a document which I said that to understand the difference between B2B and B2C. Okay, so go through this to understand what is what. I will be taking this session along with Dr. Aditya. We are going to do it on 2 weeks from now, how to pitch, so on and so forth. This is a document which is written by both of us. And all the documents that you see, all the handwritten documents, PDF, is something which is done by Dr. Aditya and me, and solely written by us. And you will see that we have approached each step, and all these are very quick reads. It will not take you more than 20 minutes. Each document shouldn't be taking you more than 15 minutes. And we have kept it extremely simple in layman's language to ensure that you understand things pretty better. And I can certainly say that we are the only team. I'd certainly say that we are the only team with the highest number of documents in this particular program. I don't think you will have any other course in this particular BS program where there are so many documents made for the projects per se. Okay, so this is something I leave to you because I will be covering this. There are some frequently asked questions, so some of you may have questions. So for that, what we have done is that there are FAQs as and when we get certain, even if I type 100, there will be 101st question that comes in. So what we do is that whenever we find something which is very unique, we kind of add it to this. Okay, so this is something for you to look into it. Uh, if you want to briefly understand what a BDM Capstone project is, again, we have a document which is called as Business Data Management Capstone Project. So it's all about this thing and you can do it. And then there is a case which I kind of want to explain, maybe 1-2 slides more before we jump into the Q&As. So it's important that you all of you go through these documents, especially the book Quid Pro Quo, though it is 52 pages. You just read it on a Friday night. It will just take you 30 minutes. And what we have done is that we have kind of compressed and shown 15 different projects which have made a real impact to the society. And you will kind of really enjoy when you kind of read it. And we are coming up with the 250 pager one in 2-3 weeks. We are working on the copy editing part of it. Now, what we did was that before we kind of floated this particular project, Aditya and I had done, in fact, a capstone project, and we did multiple capstone projects. So this was one of the project. What happened was it was during the COVID time, and that I and Aditya both are from IIT Madras. I mean, we are PhDs from IIT Madras, and during the COVID times, it so happened that we had to kind of vacate, leave our hostels, and go out. So I was staying in a beautiful place called as Tinagar in Chennai. If you've been to the Paradox, or if you've not been to Chennai, you should. If you have not been, you should definitely go to Chennai and visit this place called Tinagar, which is the most happening place of Chennai. Now, in this Tinagar, there is a coffee shop called as Vijay Ram's Coffee. They have an Instagram page also. The owner is a very, very friendly guy, and it's a busy place, which means that it is one of the most happening places in Chennai. The bus terminus, so you have many people coming in, walking in. So obviously, when it's a bus terminus, the next question is, we know that there are coffee tea shops and lot of crowd. However, this guy made a solid cut, and the reason was he was extremely good with the sales and marketing. Okay, and because that I am somebody who was working on B2B sales marketing, this is why my interest came. Go back, check his Instagram page, and he was actually good. So what he did was he was a crowd puller. So this person would greet all the customers, try to speak to them, take feedback. You see, he's just selling a cup of coffee, yeah, but he greets customers very, very well. He spoke to them extremely nicely. He was very, very pleasing, which made it easy for all of them. I mean, customers felt a connect, and in fact, neighboring shops would sell coffee tea for 10 bucks and his would be 25 30, but 25 30, I guess. So now the prices would have increased, but still people preferred him. But it was because he was extremely good at it. And not just that, the quality was very good, exceptional, but then we are price conscious customers, right? But despite that, that was a benefit. There were other benefits too. The thing was that though he did not learn this concepts of marketing like we did, he exactly knew that if the customers are satisfied, they tend to be loyal, and then they want to purchase from you again and again. Please mute yourself, anybody who is on this thing. He always made it a point to take feedback from the customers. Now, what he did, which other shops did not, was this guy did not sell any tobacco related products, which is the most important thing. What do you see in coffee shops? Many of them sell these tobacco products, which makes it very, very difficult for us, right? We don't want to go there. And this guy's shop was very, very clean. He introduced something called as a wafer biscuit coffee, which was a hit. I can hear some noise. Please mute yourself. Naresh Kumar. Please mute yourself, Naresh ji. Okay. He kept only items which he felt would move and add value. Okay, so he had this puff, he had sundal. Sundal is something called as a boiled sprout in Tamil Nadu, and he did start with sandwiches. It kind of gave him business, but later what happened was that it kind of did not give his business, so he slowly phased it out. And then what he did was that he kind of also observed that neighboring shops, there were people. He found out one segment which did not want to spend more than 10 bucks. So what he did, he started something called as coffee shots. And with this coffee shots, it became an instant hit. People started coming and having it. So he started getting customers from that segment as well. This person also knew the immense power of social media. And what he did was he invited popular bloggers, like you have something called as Irfan's blog and things like that, who's a foodie. He got him, and there are a lot of things was done, which actually gave him a lot of popularity. Now, why he did all this was that, at the end of the day, when the customers are happy, what happens is that, they kind of speak about this to others. They spread positive word of mouth. But if I'm dissatisfied, I spread negative word of mouth. A happy customer tells about his positive experiences to 10 people, but a customer who is unhappy tells about his bad experience to 100 people. So this is the power of this. But this person was extremely friendly. If you go next time, please do visit this particular place. Okay. Now, the next step, that next thing that I wanted to kind of emphasize, this is a document which we both created yesterday. We thought that would be very apt to discuss today, is how to identify problems in first place. The first thing is, it is extremely important to be humble. We will tell you how to approach 2 weeks from now. But most important thing is not to ask for data, it is to identify the problem. Let's say that your problem identification is wrong, then how much ever good an analysis that you do, it will add no value. That is why identification of the right problem is very, very important. So Aditya and I, we spoke to many vendors who are into general trade. I hope you understand what general trade is, like, kirana shops, which is like 70% in India, right? And this is the problems which they kind of told us. Opportunistic behavior by the employees, neighboring shop business owners, which we all know. Can we solve something out of this? The answer is perhaps a no. You see how we identified. The second one which we found out was price bidding to win a customer. Is there something we can do out of it? The answer is yes. Now you see, we identified many problems, but not all problems can be solved by a data driven approach. Now this is how you dissect price bidding to win a customer. Let's say that 25 kgs, it is, let's say, per kg is sold for 90 rupees, and the other person is selling it at 85 or 86 or 88 rupees. We know that people are price conscious. How much this happened, you can compute this. You can compute something called as customer lifetime value, secondary lifetime value. If you guys are interested, maybe next month I will take one or two classes on one class on this one, so that you guys have understanding. The second thing which we all need to understand, that customers defect. What do you mean by defect? Churn happens, customers leave you and go, and this defection happens due to different reasons. Okay, it's not that a customer who is doing business continuously with us is profitable. A customer may be doing continuously business with us, but if the profit margins are small, then they are not profitable customers to us. So that is why we have kind of given different details. We have given as to why customers leave you. Most importantly, customers pay on credit and repay in 5-10 installments. This is something which you see in general trade, right? So some even default. You have middlemen in the business. So this is of one of my friend who kind of said that they sold tender coconuts for $4 to the middleman, 4 rupees, and it was being sold by the middleman, let's say, to the what do you say, where you have it on the streets, for 30-35 bucks, who in turn sold you it for 50 rupees. Now you actually see there are presence of middlemen, nothing can be done out of it. Why? Because that's how the system is, because they have certain advantages. You cannot eliminate them completely. They at times, not all of them are honest, right? So they exploit the producer who may not be aware of true market prices. In stats you may come across something called as type 1 or type 2 errors. I hope that you know it, that if a person is not guilty, and if he or she is given a punishment, it's a type 1 error, right? So we should not make type 1 or type 2 errors. Ensure that it should not happen. But in reality, all this can happen. What happens in a business is that, let's say that there is a failure happening upstream, it not only impacts the downstream but all the network involved. This is a research term. To put it in simple terms, let's say that we are a wholesaler getting groceries from a manufacturer. Now what these producers do at times is that this agents or somebody, who what they do is that they mix stuff and send it to you. Obviously 25 kilo big bags, you buy 1 ton, you will not be in a position to kind of prick holes and check everything. You take it in that particular, what you call as, you trust them and you take it based on that. But later, when your customers took it from you, they come back to you and say that, look, you've given me a spoiled lot. Now what is happening because of this is the customer is actually blaming whom? The wholesaler. Yes, we tend to blame Amazon, right? You got a defective phone, you say that Amazon is responsible. But is Amazon actually responsible? The answer is Amazon is just an intermediary. So similarly this happens. Then there is something called as unpredictable demand, which we saw during the COVID-19 pandemic, which keeps on happening. It's cyclical pattern, right? It keeps on fluctuating. I've given you some research papers for those who are very serious and want to read. I mean, these are high level papers only for those who are interested. One of mine is my own paper. You have poor work-life balance, especially, people work for long hours. They experience mental health issues, because of which there is work family and family work conflict. And this is inherent in every job, not just general trade. A professor's job is also difficult. No job is easy. Every job, we all have problems. I mean, every job has its own challenges, right? I have to do a lot of research. I have to kind of deal with students. I have to prepare new materials. I have to be ready with new things. Any questions that you ask, I should be in a position to answer, so on and so forth. And then finally, you have something called as unprofitable customers. The first thing is, if a customer is doing business with you, should you be keeping them? Always remember that you should only retain your profitable customers. Convert your unprofitable to profitable customers, which means from free go to a fee. Don't go for something called as financial bonding. It is not something which is advisable. And fire your customers who are not profitable. If the customer is making no profit, fire them. You don't need them. Okay, this is very, very important. Loyalty is always conditional. You may think that okay, they are buying from us. In B2C we are switchers. What are switchers? Aaj maine, sorry, I took a brand Zara, and then I took Celio, then I took some other brands. Okay, but in B2B, let's say that it's like a marriage, right? It's collaborative relationship. But is it, are they loyal to you? Not necessarily. It is need not be price conscious. I mean, we think that in B2B, the customers are like, I mean, B2B businesses tend to be price, not to be price sensitive. That's a myth. In B2B also they are price sensitive. If you want to understand that, you can read this beautiful paper, which I really loved it. And there are other factors also, which we are surprised, with these general rates, there could be people demanding bribes to issue licenses, certificates, and other miscellaneous issues. So now, out of these 11 things that I've kind of sorted out, let's say that you reached out to a business and they gave you these 11 points. Now, which among these do you think can be solved by a data-driven approach? You can you can do this one, 10. You can do 9. You can't do something on 11. Okay, you can do on 7. You can do on 6. You can do on 5. 4, nothing much can be done. 3 you can work on, 2 you can work on, but 1 is something which you cannot work on. Now I have shown you why we made this document, is to show that we identified 11 problems, but are all 11 problems something which you can work on? The answer is perhaps a no. And that is when from this you know that you can perhaps work on 4 or 5 problems, or if the problem is broad, even take one and work, provided make sure that it covers all the heads. It's okay. So this is one document. What else did I want to cover? Proof of originality is done. This is for you guys to read. This is done. This is we'll do after 2 weeks from now. FAQs is done. This is done, and this is done. Over. It's over with me, Aditya. So you can take over.
Yeah, Ashwin, thanks. So hope it is clear to you all, right? So I'll just ask you one question. So maybe it will be answered, and that thing I'll relate with the problem statement. So how many of you have seen the Panchayat season 2? So how just raise your hands.
Yeah, raise your hands or a thumbs up. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people have seen the Panchayat too. So one scene was there, which is quite motivating for you all, and it will be you can correlate with your project. It's something like when the old lady was there, right? So she was just uh, making. She was just saying like I'm not feeling well, right? So in that condition, what she's saying, like she's just diverting the topic and she's telling, "I'm not feeling well," right? So doctor was asking, like, "What happened to you?" He was telling, "I'm having something, but I'm not. I don't know what exactly the problem I am facing. So, but I'm not feeling well." So now I'll come to the point that scene is something related to the problem statement, right? So when you are just formulating a problem statement, right? So when you are going to some of the business organization, they'll say some problems are there, but I don't know what the problem is. Some of the business organization will say, like, I'll talk about the unstructured part, right? So some of the unstructured business organization will say, like, we have a business problem, right? Or some of them will say, we don't have any business problem. Our business is going well, and we don't have any problem. We are getting some profit. So this is the key point to identify the business problem. Like if you are not able to identify the business problem, right? In the similar way, the doctor was not able to identify the issues or medical issues what the old lady was having. He has given a different medicine, right? So similar way, if you identify a wrong business problem, your whole project will go. So the key factor here in the project is the problem statement identification, right? So if problem statements are identified, anybody can take a data and they can do the analysis, right? But if you are not able to identify what exactly the problem is all about, then it is very difficult for you to proceed with the project, because if you don't know what exactly the problem statement, you don't know what exactly the approach you need to apply, right? So it's something like a blindfold for you. You don't know what are the approach, what are the mathematical techniques, what are the problem solving approaches, what are the results you need to find, right? So it's totally a blank for you. So once you identify the problem, business problem, then the things are open for you, right? You will be able to identify, okay, these are the business problem I am having, and in line with this business problem, I need to take a data, right? Because the data cleaning part is very important. If you get so it happens to me always. Like I have a lot of hard disks, right? I will store the data, I'll take a backup, and then I'll never touch the hard disk because it is very scary to just clean the data of 1 TB. I'm again purchasing a 1 TB hard disk and just putting some more data in there. So data cleaning is very important. If you are getting a lot of data, irrelevant data, not a relevant, irrelevant data you are getting, then it will be very difficult for you to just analyze the data. You will be confused at that time, right? So what the data I can clean, what the data I can put for the results. But if your problem statements are fine, you have a vision, like, oh, this is my vision and I want to go in this particular path. So in line with that, just take your time. The proposal is the main thing, right? So take your time, identify the business, try to find out the business problem, best business problem, right? So we have given the documents that will clarify you, okay, what are the procedures you need to find out the business problem. So it should be something like as for the previous experience, what we have seen, some students have taken the problem. Some students are doing a job in some company. They are taking a research problem, right, from there, and just they are telling, okay, these are the problems which I'm going to just give. These are problems which they want to address, and we want to give the some of the references for this, right? So this is a different business problem is different, and the research problem or technical problem is different, right? If you are just moving, right? If you are moving. From I'll give you one example, right? So if I'll give you example of Amazon app, right, or some other app, right? If you purchase the premium version of Netflix, okay, or if you purchase, if you have taken a app of Amazon. So in case of Amazon, right, what is happening? If the updates are not coming, it doesn't mean like you are not able to purchase from the Amazon, right? So updates are coming for the apps or for the mobiles. They are enhancing the features, but enhancement of feature doesn't like show like the customer, they are losing the customer. If you have an Android phone, if Android is not upgrading their version, it doesn't mean you can throw the phone and buy Apple iPhone, right? So this is what exactly the enhanced feature enhancement, which is comes under technical advancement or a research problem, right? Which is not affecting the business directly. But what exactly is affecting the business? If you are basically a continuous purchaser of Amazon, if the support service is not good, you will not go with the Amazon. You will go to some other portal or you will go offline where you are getting a good support services. Right? So this support service system is directly affecting the business. Okay, so this seems to be a business problem. So in the similar way, when you are going to collect the data, like as Dr. Ashwin told, like once, like in case of unorganized sector also, if you take a name of data, it is very big thing, right? If you will come to me, you'll ask me, give me some data. I'll just surprise, okay, what exactly you are looking for, right? If you're getting a spam call, they'll ask you, I don't know, it's a spam or it's a normal call. They'll ask you details. Then you will find out why they are asking a lot of details from me. It looks like a spam call. Similarly, when you're going to some business and you're asking a lot of details about the data, they'll think like it's a spam call. It's something like a spam call, and they'll ignore you to get the data. So when you're going to the business, don't never ask that directly about the data. Just take some time. Just make them comfortable. Okay. So this is what. Just let them understand like you are there to help them. Just don't like they'll don't create a misunderstanding like you are coming for some purpose. Just try to familiar with them. Just try to make them in a comfort zone that you are the one who are going to help them, right? In terms of a data, right? So after a subsequent like 2 to 3 interaction with the owner, you can ask for the data. Don't ask directly like give me the data. They'll never give. Like even though they don't know what exactly the data is all about, they'll never give. And in unstructured business, there is a lot of problems of the taxes because a lot of businesses like if it is a small shop, right? If it's a vegetable shop, they don't have provision to file a GST and all. So sometimes they will be too much scary about sharing the details, right? So in that sense, also you need to think about like how you can just convey them like, okay, this is the data you are taking. It should not be shared to anyone, right? So this is, I think, Dr. Ashwin has covered a lot of things with the projects. So nothing is more. One more thing I want to tell you about secondary data analysis approach. So basically, it is the easiest path some of you assume, but it is not the one. I'll tell you frankly. What is happening in the previous term? I think 20 reports are there. So what they have taken the data from same point, same source, right? So if the data is same, there should be an overlap of problem statement because you're collecting the data from the same show, the same source, right? So in that case, what is happening? There should be a like marginal like quantity of information which are copied from each other report. Why it is happening? Because the data is same. If you are analyzing the data, same data, what you can do extra? You are not able to do something extra on the same data. So better you can just if you are going for the secondary data analysis as well, right? So there is a huge chance that your report will reject immediately because if the data is source is same. So those who are going for the secondary data, be careful with these things, right? Don't take a same source because if you are taking a data from Kaggle, other person is taking a data from Kaggle, it is totally a copied. It looks like a copied thing. So just if you are just doing secondary thing, also just be careful with these particular things, right? And the other things we want to communicate at the start itself, like the declaration statement, as Dr. Ashwin told, like it's very necessary, right? Because if you're not submitting, and the other thing is that like your report, we are evaluating every time. In any stage, we can find it out. It is copied, it will be rejected. It is not something like in a proposal. Sometime it happens like we are not able to find it out in the proposal, but we are able to find it out at the time of Viva or at the time of final report submission, right? So it will get rejected at any point. And the other thing is that like if you are making the report, just try to adheres with the rubrics, whatever rubrics we have given to you. Don't go beyond the rubrics, everything you don't write over the report. Just you keep point to point, whatever we have given in the rubric, right? So these are the main things which you people need to know, you have to understand. So it is not something like a very tough, it is something like a very systematic project, right? So it's not a tough project. It's a systematic work you need to do. We are expecting a systematic work which will help you in different ways, not only completing the project in a different ways. Also, as the feedback we have got in the Code HR Summit, like Dr. Ashwin told you. So we have get a very good feedbacks from the company peoples, right? They have given like it is really amazing. Like some students have done a very good work. They have transformed the unorganized sector in a 360 degrees. This is the amazing work they have given. Like they have given the comments. So basically, if you just start it from now onwards, right? So you have a sufficient time. Don't be in a hurry and don't wait for a last moment, right? Because many of the students, what they are doing, they are just opting a last cycle, right? And they are just sending us a mail. Okay, this is our last cycle. We want to upgrade in diploma level, degree level, or something else, right? So we are not basically responsible for that because we have given you a sufficient time. You have a 2 terms to complete the project, right? So that is why we have in a proposal phase we have a Gantt chart, right, where you can plan your project systematically and just follow the same trends. So just plan it properly, just do it properly. Don't hesitate. Don't worry about it. If you are doing it systematically, surely your project will be go through and you'll get a good grades, right? So by this, I want to close it. Maybe we can take some of the questions. I'll just, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So Aditya, please open the chat. Chat. You can just open the chat so that I put
Yeah.
the link. So I just want to. I've just given a feedback form that you can just fill. Let us know what you think of it. Any details that you want. So before we proceed to the question, there are two things that I just want to give you an example as to what two students did. So we had a student who recently got the best capstone project award. His name is Abhijit Palit. So it's been an amazing journey. So you would be seeing that from Andrew sir's LinkedIn profile. What we do is that every time, if you've not done it, please go back and check from his LinkedIn that, the achievers of the capstone project, we kind of do their interviews, and it is nicely put. The entire journey of their project is kind of put, and it is also coming in one of the books. Now, let me take the questions later. Ritik, please wait. So what happened with this particular student called Avijit was that he has been kind of looking for this particular project from 1 year. In fact, he was extremely patient. He approached a lot of business. He did not make the cut. And finally, a business owner who previously denied asked him to come and meet. And the issue that they found out was theft. The employees itself were kind of, there was some theft from the employees within the organization, due to which they were making some losses in lakhs. He kind of worked on the project and there was a complete turnaround. The second example that I would like to give is from an unstructured business of a vegetable vendor in T Nagar, West Mamlam. So this was a girl who worked on this project, brilliant project. So let's say that in this particular vegetable shop, which is in a particular street, they get it from the central market. The central market makes the supplies to this particular market. And let's say these people order for 1,000 or 2,000 rupees. So the central market sends them stuff, and they were surprised that a lot of things went into wastage, a lot of things went rot. Now what these guys didn't do was that they worked on a daily basis, right? So they were like, it was daily wages, and they hardly made profits. The profits was only up to 2,000 rupees a month. So you can imagine how bad it was. So when this student went there first, even she was confused because they were also not willing to share information. They did not write down anything. So the first suggestion that we gave to the student is that, so it was in Tamil. So we said that it's perfectly fine. Like, make a document, ask them how much is coming in. Let's say potatoes, onions, whatever is coming in, what is the quantity coming in? What is the quantity that is going out, which is how much is sold? What is left at the end of the day? And the pricing, this bought it pricing, they sold, and all that. When they actually started doing this, they found out that they kind of bought things which they did not have a demand. Okay, so there were certain things for which they didn't have a demand, and that was being procured. And for the items that had demand, that was not procured. Secondly, most of the things that were sold to them, some of them were already in rotten form, which means they were already out, or they would spoil in the next 2 days. So this is what I was saying, right? In general trade, they try to do all these opportunistic practices, and there were certain vegetables which were not being sold. And then what we said was that, why don't they make a mix of vegetables and sell it in a packet, not just, make a packet and keep, because the freshness perceptions are gone. So they write that, okay, if you want to buy things for sambar or some sabji, let's say, you pay 20 bucks and take a packet, you get like mix of four of your choice. And that picked up from 2,000, it straight away went to shot up to 10,000 or 13,000 in 3 months time. So this was an example where real transformation has had happened. And if you look at quid pro quo, there are many such things, not just in unorganized, there is an organized as well. But why do you make it in organized, unorganized sectors? That you're actually making a contribution to the society. Second thing, the third example that I wanted to give was that of an iron shop. Now what this person did was that this iron shop is in some locality, and he goes and visits every household and gets things. And this student worked with him, so he had a decent business, which means he had good business. He was making around 10-15,000 profits a month. But then what was actually happening, it was a routing issue, which means that he visited places where the demand was not more. Like for certain households, he was visiting even if they just give it once in a week. So even if he makes 3 visits, it's not of much use to him. Whereas there were certain household where she should have actually made 3 visits, because they would have given him more. It was not happening. So then the student kind of suggested making a WhatsApp kind of platform. It may be a small thing for us, but it's a big thing for them. Now what happened because of this is that his order size volume increased 4 times, which he never knew before. So directly, it had a 3x impact on his business. Like this, there are many different things. Andrew sir would also have told you during the paradox many success stories like this that they have done. So this is something which is very important. Now Dr. Aditya had mentioned about data cleaning. So I just wanted to show you what is actually meant by this data cleaning. I had prepared the document, did not have much time to go through it. Let me just quickly show you what data cleaning is all about. Now let's say that it's here, okay, this particular paragraph. Let me zoom it for you. Now let's say that projecting? Okay, it's coming. Just give me a minute, please. Okay. Now let's say that data is always information plus noise. That's what we say. That, and what you have to do is that you have to keep the information and separate the noise. But how do you do it? Now let's say that a shop sells four varieties of breads. Okay, I'm just giving you an example. 15.23 per kg. These are just cooked numbers. Huh? The cost of bread is not definitely this much. It's more than that. Now, when you check the last entry, you will see that it's 1234 per kg. Obviously, now you know that you cannot proceed with this because the cost cannot be so high, right? So if you are to proceed with this, then what would happen is that it is wrong. So the best thing to do is that you go back to them. Okay, you go back to them and just check whether this entry was wrong, or you remove it altogether. And you say that we just considered these three breads and the fourth one was omitted because we could not kind of cross verify this. Okay, so that is why we are saying data, cleaning is a very, very important exercise. And Dr. Aditya has himself shared a document. There's a document which he has shared on how to do data cleaning. Okay, now let's say that you're doing a survey. Let's say that you're doing primary data collection. The organization doesn't give you data. The other way of doing it is by means of a survey, right? So let's say you do a survey, and if a customer has ticked everything as 55555, if a respondent has ticked 555, should you consider the response? The answer is no. Why? The standard deviation is 0. So compute the standard deviation. 0 out, because obvious, which means that the customer or participant hasn't read that at all in first place. Point number one. Point number two is that let's say they have ticked it, but there are some missing values. In such cases, you don't want to impute them. What you do is you kind of disregard them. So there are some books which says that, okay, if you have like more higher data sets, you can just impute them based on the previous numbers. But we don't tell that, we don't impute these things. Just remove that particular column, or if you have details, go back to the customer and try to find out. If it is anonymous, nothing can be done. That is how you do. So this is why data cleaning is very, very important, and it plays a very important role. And then I told you, right, how do you do box qual versus quant? So this is how you do it. And when you do things like that, and that is when you will have an enhanced understanding of the project. Otherwise, whatever you do without an understanding, it is not going to add any value to you. So the first step, as Aditya clearly mentioned, he gave the right example of that panchayat too, is identification of the problem. If the problem itself is wrong, you're gone. Whatever you do, how can we get the documents? Everything has been emailed. You have to check your mails. If the problem identification is wrong, any analysis that you do, how much ever well, it is wrong. Second thing, if you do, like some of them say that, can we do machine learning this? We don't expect you to use hi-fi things. You can do it if you want. Simple Excel does the job for you. And third, as rightly Aditya mentioned, don't do technical problems. Technical problems, research problem is different from a business problem, right? So if you say that this app, I'm going to do this, no, it's not a business problem. It's a technical problem, technical issue. So don't bring that into place. Don't do some complex kind of stuff, which kind of, we had one particular candidate student who kind of sent us a report. It was very, very nice, and we rejected and sent it back to him. So it was some 3-vector projection, and it had got nothing to do with it. The report was nicely written. It was all
Yes,
in
yes,
some
yes.
vectors and mathematical terms. And the simple thing is
Mhm.
that if a layman is to read it, what he or she will make out of it, that is what is important. Ask your parents. If they are able to read, are they able to digest or understand it? Can we do survey as upon the project? Yes, you can do it. Then you have to do data analysis. Yes, you have to do data analysis. That is what the
So
purpose is all about.
that is how we have designed the project. Like a proposal, like
Yeah.
if somebody don't know about the project, what exactly you are doing. So if he go with a proposal, so in the proposal he'll come to know, okay, this is the problem statement you are having, right?
Yeah.
So this is the business you are selecting. When he is going with the metadata, when he is referring to your metadata part, like from there he'll get a data, a midterm portion. He'll get a data about information about your data. Metadata is something like information about your data, right? Because if he is just directly going to your final report, he'll not able to understand what exactly the project you have done. The project proposals are designed, proposal, midterm, or submissions are designed in such a way, if somebody refer your project, right, different submission scales, the submissions, then he'll come to know, okay, what exactly is your project? It's something like layman will also understand, okay, what you have done in the project, right? Because it's you're focusing mainly on the unorganized sector. They don't have an idea about it, right? So if you just explain them one by step from the proposal, you explain like this is the basically the problem identification you have done. This is the data cleaning you have done, right? After then, this is the final results you are having. We will understand. Anybody will understand. So that is how we have designed different submissions for your project. The other thing I'll take about the how much data. This is an important question, right? I'd like to address. So basically, I'll give you an example, right? So there should be some pattern, right? There should be some pattern if you want to analyze something. If you are getting a spam calls, right? If you are getting a spam calls once in a year, you're not able to find the spammer, right? But if you are able to get a spam calls every day, right? So every day within a year, you will identify, okay, this is the person and this is the number from where you are getting a spam call. So the accuracy, right? What exactly you have done, if you are getting a daily basis data, then the accuracy will be more. Then you are in a quick mode, you will able to identify, okay, this is what the spam call is all about, right? So from here, I want to say, like, if you are having a more data, like initially, if you have having, if you are having a data of 15 days or 1 month, you won't be able to identify anything. No pattern is there, right? If a spammer is calling on a daily basis, you'll know the pattern. Okay, this is the pattern. Like he's calling from sometimes he's calling from SBI Bank, sometimes he's calling from some courier service, sometimes he's calling from credit card. Then he'll know the pattern. Okay, these are the broader domain. This is what the pattern you are having from where the spammers are calling. This is what the domain he is just touching up and he is just giving you the information and taking the information from your side. In the similar way, if you have a lot of data. Like we are not saying like you can take our data for 10 years. At least you can have a year of, if you are doing a seasonal, if you are doing analysis for a, suppose some winter collection clothing, right? So if you have only the data for a 2 months, it's 2 months in a sense, like in a summer months data, you won't be able to identify the trend in the winter season because the clothing for the winter are like it's basically the season is in winter. If you are getting a summer data, it doesn't make sense for you, right? So at least a year data or a 2 year data will be sufficient. At least a variation for the months, variation for the seasons, you'll get it from there. If you don't have a data for like 2 months, 3 months, it's not feasible. You won't be able to. We will allow you, like you can just put some of the problem statement. Something is there, but what happens when you go with the midterm and final term, right? You don't have anything to explain. What if from 2 months data you won't be able to explain why the trend is coming? Okay, there should be no pattern. So that is why we are telling at least whatever how much data, how much large data set you are having, the accuracy will increase,
Yeah.
right? Your basically results will enhanced in that condition, right?
Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll take your Q&A. Only one question in the interest of time. Okay, can you please give the name of the book? It's all in the documents that we have sent to you. So what you do is ask your questions one by one, just one question per person. And then if you have further question, you come towards the end. We'll start with Saubhagya, Anburaja, Ishika, Sachdev. Others can listen so that some queries might get resolved. Yes. Saubhagya?
Hello,
Okay,
sir.
Saubhagya. Yeah, Saubhagya, go ahead.
Sir, actually, my sister runs a handicraft shop. She used to make crafts, handmade, and used to sell those products
Okay.
online and offline. But she
Hmm.
gets most of her orders online. She has a good Instagram presence.
Hmm.
Actually, sir, she doesn't. The shop is recently opened, like 7 months before.
Okay.
She doesn't have a proper even shop
Yeah,
banner or.
you can actually work on this particular business itself. It is fine. I mean, it could be your sisters, it could be your friends, families, relatives, anything. It is fine, not a problem. So you speak to her, try to identify what is the problem. I mean, if you want to make a better social media presence or how to kind of create more awareness, how to increase your order frequency, something like that. These are the different probable ways you can work on that.
Sir, I wanted to ask, she does not have a shop banner or does not even have a stamp a letter for signing on the letter of
No,
authentication.
signing on the letter, as I said, no. So if this is something not in place, in such cases, what you'll have to do is just write on the letter, take signature, but we need certain proof, right? Tangible evidence, which means some pictures of what she does. Something should be there, no? Your website, shop website, things like that. All these things would be collectively considered when we kind of
Sir,
grade it.
then I should attach the Instagram handle and
Yeah, Instagram handle, the meeting, the interaction
You
with your sister.
So,
okay.
Bhagya, you need to verify your data. Like you need to give authentic, proof to give authenticate your data. One, like if we are finding it is not authenticated, it will get rejected. So you have to decide what are the things you have to include to prove your data is original. It is not
Okay, sir.
taken from some other source. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Sir, but she does not have a website. She shares her product marketing on Instagram. So he doesn't
Yeah,
have
that's fine.
Instagram.
That's fine.
That
You
is
give it.
fine.
That is fine. Not a
One
problem.
more thing I'll tell you, this is your own business. Like sister is running the business, she's making in her home, right? So you can take a pictures of like when he's fabricating some product or something like that. So that it should look like authenticated, right? It should not look like a first data.
You can also kind of share some. Okay, I just also want to tell one thing, that the data that you share with us is only for verification. Once it is verified, it is being purged, because we are also bound by non-disclosure agreement. So it is just to check, it is just for verification purpose. Once it is verified, it is purged, so that you can be assured, because we also sign an NDA. But authenticity is very, very important, and as Dr. Aditya rightly mentioned, what you are supposed to do is kind of provide us details, more and more evidence, so that we can verify it is indeed a business and not something which is just like that. Okay, we need verification.
Yes, yes.
I
Yes,
proceed to
sir.
the next one. Anbu Raja.
Okay.
Anbu Raja. Okay, Anbu Raja, I'm not able to hear you. Go, Ishika Sachdev.
Good evening, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ashwin sir and the other professor, for such a clear view of the project. Sir, I have a very basic question, like about the midterm submission and the final submission. Somewhere I read that both the submissions can have similar like word phrases or similar kind of details.
No, a similar kind of DC. What happens is that when you move from proposal to midterm, it will definitely change. When you move from midterm to final, there is an enhancement or some improvement happens, right? It cannot be the same. I mean, little bit can be the same, but the page limit is also more. So proposal is 5, midterm is 10, and this is 18. But if you just copy paste things like that, then it will be rejected. So you have to write it in a very, very nice way. In midterm, you may give 2 3 graphs. In final, you may give 5 6 graphs and explain in more details. Or maybe let's say your analysis also changes further. So that is why in-depth explanation is expected in final.
Mhm. So,
Yeah.
so
So
basically,
I'll just
yes.
so I'll answer your question. There are some things which you find like are common, right? Because the executive summary, if you see, executive summary is throughout the all the summation, right? But there is some logic to put executive summary in a different section, right? It should not be the same, right, for all the things. Because once, like if I want to read your report, I'll go through your executive summary, I'll get an idea what exactly the content of your report is all about, right? So the content will change. Like if you go to the proposal, there is a different heads which you need to cover in the proposal. If you are going to the midterm, there are different heads which you need to cover, right, in executive summary, and similarly in the final term. So executive summary, if you see, like it is totally different for all the submission. If I am the one, or if some other person want to read your report from the executive summary, he'll get idea what should be the content of your report, right? Similar way, like if you like if you see a midterm, there is a result and discussion in the midterm as well, but in the final also there is a result and discussion, right? There is a difference between the midterm and the final, right? In the midterm, we are not expecting you the results for all the problem statement. If you are having a multiple problem statement, we are not expecting you all the results, right? So the details explanation of the results and everything should be there. A multiple results should be there in your final report. But in your midterm report, you need to include some of the results so that it will be verified. You have taken the data, you have analyzed the data. You are in a process of analyzing the data, right? You have to give a, like if you have 10 plots, so at least one plot you can just include in the midterm, right? Or if you have three problem statement, for a one problem statement, you can include the results in your midterm report, right? Similarly, you have so this is what exactly the pattern of the summation. So everything is different. If you are having, you have to give a details of your problem solving approach in the midterm, like how you are going to solve the problem, what are the different techniques. It should not be a generalized. Like if you can write, okay, in Excel there is an option called pie chart, and pie chart is used for this. It is not valid. You have to explain clearly, like why you are using the pie chart in your case, why you are using a time series analysis, why you are using a regression analysis, multi-regression or linear regression in your case. You have to explain it. We also know, like this is what exactly the regression. But why you are using the regression in your case, you have to explain it properly. I hope it is clear now.
Yes, sir. So our midterm submission will include some of the problems and not all. And our final submission may include these same problems with an extended
Everything,
version of it.
everything you have to include in the final submission. Everything, every problem statement, results, as well as
No, sir,
suggestions
like
in a
I'm asking
depth.
the same graphs or maybe the explanation, but yes, an extended and a final version of it.
Correct, 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 correct. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
thank
So
you so
we
much.
Okay,
go to
we'll
the
go to the next question.
next question. So we have
Yeah.
many. We will answer all the questions. So we cannot handle so many on the chat because so many things are popping out. Raise your hands. We'll answer every question. Tadimalla, Karthik, then Chaitanya, then Dhanush.
Good evening, sir.
Yep.
Thank you for providing me an opportunity for this. So, like, my business is an organized sector. So, I met up with them, and then like it actually deals with selling of laboratory equipments and supplies them to other vendors and schools as well. So, like, and it comes under both B2B and B2C as well. Like,
Yeah.
when
So
you
then you can say it is B2C, B2B, but you decide which stream you want to take. Do you want to explore the B2C side of it or the B2B side of it or both?
okay,
That's up to you.
so like either one would be quite sufficient
One
for
would
this.
be
Is
one
what
would be sufficient, and you say why is that you're going with one. Let's say that with B2B you collect difficulty in data collection. You can say that for ease of this, I'm going with B2C. That's okay. Okay,
Yes, sir.
fine.
Okay, and what would be the like basic grasp for this? Like, let's say like it deals with supplying of these lab equipments and stuff to
No, no.
schools.
So this
And
thing we will not able to tell it now because we don't know what exactly your problem statement data is all about. Like you are the one who has to decide based on the data what exactly the approach should be there and
Yep.
useful for your data.
Yep.
okay, yeah,
But
Okay.
we are not able to. We didn't saw your data. What exactly your data
yeah,
is all about? How we
yes.
can say which plot is suitable for your data?
So don't ask
Not
questions
possible
on
for us.
plots, what to plot, so on and so forth. We will not be able to answer that at this stage. Okay. So then Chaitanya, Dhanush, Chaitanya.
So, good evening, sir.
Yep.
Sir, my doubt is the extension to the what you have explained as an example of the panchayat.
Okay.
The same thing, the what can be included in the proposal, sir? It can be the overall the thing what I need to do it, or the thing the what I got it the initial information what I got it from the business
So
owner.
there are two things. There are two things I'll tell you. One thing is coming from the patient side. Like if I'll take the example of panchayat, the patient itself say like I am having this problem, right? The other thing, what the old lady is doing, she don't know what the problem is all about. So in that sense, what you have to do, you have to take some reports. Doctor, what exactly the doctor will do? They'll just go and ask you to for have some like testings, right? For some blood test or something. From that data, he'll analyze. Okay, these are the points, or this is what exactly the problem you are having. So this is from here, what exactly I want to communicate. So there are two cases when the business owner will agrees like these to help you out in finding the business problem. They'll tell you directly these are the business problems you are having. And the other thing is that when you have to find out the what exactly the business problem the business is having, in that condition, what you have to do, you have to pre-check. Like if the business is from some software company, you have to pre-check what exactly the business problem the software companies are facing on, right? Then you have to discuss with him. Okay, these are the mostly business problems the companies are having, right? So what's your opinion on that? How you are just coping out with this bottlenecks what the software business is facing on, right? So in a similar way, when you are having a lot of questions with him, so something will come up. And that should be the feasible business problem, right? From there, you will able to identify the business problem. The third thing is that you have to align some people what they are doing. They are not knowing. They are not even telling. They are giving you a data. So based on the data, like when you are going to see the data, when you will see the data, from there you will find some pattern. Okay, this is like different costs are there, right? So if you do the cost analysis or you see the data for the cost for the inventory, then you will be able to identify, okay, this is the business problems the business is facing. So these are the three ways in which you can identify the business problem. Hope it is clear, Chaitanya.
Yes, sir, my doubt is what can be included in the proposal because the final submission may deviate from the proposal, sir.
No,
So
no,
is
no,
it
no. For the
okay?
proposal we have given, you just check the rubrics. We have clearly
Yeah, you
explained what
can
is
check the
needed.
rubrics.
Check the rubrics. You have to read the rubrics first.
Sure, sir.
Okay. Okay, Dhanush,
Yes,
please
sir.
restrict to only one question. Just one question. If you have more questions, raise your hand later again. Okay, go ahead, Dhanush.
Okay, sir. My one simple question. Good evening, sir. One simple question is that since you told that every month we can submit, after we have 3 months and one term break. If we want to submit the proposal midterm or end term, we can submit in the break month also.
That depends. That support will send an email to you if they open the term, because typically a term is designed like 3 or 4 months. I don't know whatever your terms are, because we are not aware of these things. But yes, the window is open every month, 1 to 5, 1 to 5. But what are the term breaks and things like that, the support would be able to tell you.
Because sir, this month it happened. It
No,
started
no,
from
this month you
15th or
forget. For you the starting is from July, not now.
yes.
For you, the
Yeah,
start is
yeah,
from
yeah.
July. From there, we keep 3 or 4 months, whatever it is. Timelines are.
Because sir, if we submit July proposals and we have to submit our end term in the September month. But
July, August, September. Yeah, I mean July, August. See, you can also work parallelly. Okay, so let's say you started in July, assuming that it is going smoothly, so you complete by September. Yes, you're right.
because sir, the term ends on September 1st. The
Okay,
end term exam.
once you register, your project is valid for 2 terms. Once you register
But
for the project, you can complete it in 2 terms.
but sir, September 1st ends, so we can't submit in the September month if the term end term exam ends in the September month.
No, no, no. This is continuous
No, so
submission process.
these,
One. Hmm.
yeah. So basically, these things, maybe you can just move through the project. You'll come to know. We don't know what exactly the term break and different things are there. So we are not the good person to just clarify it now. So you can just drop a mail to support team. They'll just clarify you all the things, right? So yeah, one more thing I want to clarify with you all. Basically, those who joined project in this term. So there are two terms. So first term and second term, your piece is valid for the two terms. And the thing is that like if you are not able to complete the project in one term, so you have to just continue the project. Like if you have submitted a proposal and the proposal is accepted, then if you are just not able to complete the midterm in the registered term, then what you can do in the next term, you don't have to submit a proposal again. You have to submit a midterm, right? So the stage where you left in the previous term to the next stage, you have to move on, right? It should not be if your proposal is approved in term one, you can say in May term if it is proposal is approved. Then in September term, you have to submit your midterm. You don't have to submit a proposal again. So this point, I think it will be helpful. Like it will clarify your doubt. Those who registered newly in this term, for the older students, so those who are from previous term, they are already aware of this. Yeah, we can go to the next question.
Thanks.
Shakti Vel.
Hello, sir. Good evening. So actually, I have talked to one business. They are ready to give the data, but they are
Okay.
not having. They are not aware of the problems. So what I will try to find the problem, like you said. So in case I could not able to find the problem, is it possible to switch towards a secondary statements later part of the
Yes,
project,
yes.
or
Yeah. See, by
Correct,
default, you are
correct.
registered in primary, and my suggestion is go with primary and not with secondary, because actually there will be a lot of learning with primary. Because as such, you have to work hard. The efforts required is more or less the same. So why do a secondary one? So we always recommend go with primary, and you should
yeah,
trust
actually
your.
the
Secondary is
business.
more challenging.
Yeah.
As far as
Yeah,
we
okay,
suggest, secondary is more challenging. We'll get a multiple
okay,
rejection in secondary. And what happens, like if you're taking, that is what I told previously, if you're taking a data from same source, there might be the chances that your data is copied. And once it is copied, it will be go to disciplinary committee, right? That is what we are telling. So better you can just go. You can take your time. Two terms are there, right? I will give you an example of a girl, right? So
okay.
two
Actually,
term before two term a girl was there. So she got a rejection like 3 to 4 times. 3 to 4 times her reports are rejected, and two terms she has completed. After that she fed up, right? So what? And after then, once she get her data proper, we have explained her all the things. She is attending all the live sessions on a Sunday, and every live session she is attending. Once it is clicked in her mind, she completed the project in 2 months, and after that she got a best project award. Right. So this is what, like, exactly, if you don't have a systematic planning, it will be very difficult for you. So make a systematic planning and move forward. Yeah, Sakti. Tell
Okay,
me.
sir. Thank you. Actually,
Yeah,
the
the most
project
important
is
thing is you also have to read the rubrics. I want to reiterate again and again
Yes.
that if you guys do not read the rubrics and if you just go ahead doing the projects, you will definitely get rejections. So the rubrics is crafted in the most simplest manner. Okay, it's written in very simple terms. So you read the rubrics and you will get to know. And if you are not clear, every Sunday what we do is Aditya takes a session. So you please do attend it, and that is how you can clear your doubts. And there are no mentors for this particular
We are
project.
always there to help you out. We are
We are
always
always there
there
to
to
help you.
help you out for any technical problems you are facing. If you are just putting an email or random emails, it will be very difficult for us to address. If you have a genuine email, right, or if you are having a genuine problem, we will just there to help you out. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
and secondly, what I would say is that check the rubrics. All the things are there in the rubrics. That is why it was sent a week in advance for you to read. If you've not read it, most of the questions that are coming in chat, it's like 15, 20 when I type one, so it is difficult to answer for all. But we'll answer it as you raise your hands. But what I would
Yeah.
like to say is go through your rubrics. That is what it is, and it has been sent by email. Okay, it has been sent by
So
email. So please check your
after
emails.
1 to 2 months, maybe in a month or two, we can just able to launch the digital version of BDM book. So it will be helpful. Like if you people need a hard copy, you can just write us like we need hard copy, so we can arrange hard copy for you, right? But it should be depending upon like how many numbers are getting. So it is not compulsory. We are circulating your digital copy, but in case if somebody wants or somebody is interested in the hard copy, they can by self take a printout or they can just ask us. Like if we have a bulk request, we can just take a printout and we can just share. I don't know how it will be shared, but we can just try to share it to you.
Yeah, so
Right?
the digital
Hard copy.
copy is free of cost. So I mean, if you're okay with digital copy, read it, or you can take printouts on your own. It's up
Yeah.
to you guys. Okay, so we go to the without wasting much time. Dhanush, you're done. Harshil Pandey, Keshav Mishra, Ravikant.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I've received data from a money lending company, and
The first thing is not collecting data. That is what I said. The first thing is identifying the problem. So if you do not identify the problem and collect data, it is wrong. You're going reverse. The first step is to reach out to a business, identify the problem they face, then collect data pertaining to that problem, and then proceed. You have done the second step first, so it is wrong.
all right, sir. So
Okay.
there's no
So
point.
that's what you're supposed to do. So you go
Okay.
back, find out the problems they face.
This is the deadline actually. When you don't have any option, then you can go with the reverse. But you have option, you can just go in the forward
Yeah,
direction.
because if you
Because if you are
actually
going on a reverse direction, it will be difficult for you
it,
to give the justification of your data,
yeah.
give the justification of the graphs you are getting. Because the trend, what are the fluctuation in the trends are coming, you will be able to know from the owner itself.
Yeah,
You won't be
and
able to analyze from
it
the
is the
data.
objective that drives the methodology, not the other way around. So what you are telling is the reverse. It is always the objective that drives the methodology. Keep it in mind.
So, sir, just one thing I wanted to ask. I wanted to ask the problem statement, does it have to be a very technical related to this credit analysis, or can it be as simple as like defaulter analysis or
You can do a
identifying a
defaulter
doubt?
analysis. Yeah, you can do it. Problem statement can be very simple also. It need not be complex,
Right. So
right?
I can
So
base it
if
around.
you are taking a data for some farmer, right? If I'll tell you, if you are taking a data from farmer, you don't know about the technical thing. So if you are making a complex problem statement, he won't be able to understand, right? So make it as simple as possible so that a layman will able to understand what exactly your motive is.
Right, sir. So I
Okay?
just wanted to ask about the detail of the problem statement. That was all my question was. So I
Yeah.
can do a defaulter analysis,
Yes,
right?
you can do. Make sure you read the rubrics before you start anything. Okay, because you
Right.
already did the first mistake of asking the data, which is wrong.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
So
So
we are not commenting what should be the problem statement correct
yeah.
or not, because in the last meeting some students what they have done, they have asked us and we have commented, and they written in the mail like these problem statement are suggested by me and Ashwin. So we are not
So
saying
we
you
are not
because
going
we are
to.
not we didn't see your data, what exactly your data is
Right,
all
sir.
about, and we are not able to comment, but we are just giving a suggestion how you can do it, right?
Okay, sir. Understood. Thank you very much.
Okay, so there was a question that with unstructured businesses, they do not have data in digital format. That is exactly what I was saying, right? That is the challenge. So these guys typically write in notebooks or small papers and things like that. That is where it is actually a challenge. Now, what this girl did, which I explained earlier to those who are not paying attention that point of time. What you have to do is you can actually make them sheets and give it to them, collect it on a daily basis or a weekly basis, get back and then clean. So this is what you could do, and this is how you can show them the power of simple data things. You don't have to run complex algorithms, do complex machine learning stuff and all that. Simple things itself will give you, like, the best outputs. So that is what that can be done. Okay, only one question each. Ravikant, Tanmay, Prashant, Raj. Yes.
Sir, actually, I've raised my hand, but
Yeah, Keshav, yes, yeah, I saw your hand. Yes, please go ahead.
yeah. So, sir, actually, I enrolled to this project in last term, and I thought to work it at the towards the end, but then I was transferred to a different city. Right now, I'm in Pune, so I'm now starting again to the project, and I just wanted to know if this goes beyond the September limit, how I have to process through.
No. Once you register for a project, it is valid for 2 terms. The fee is valid for 2 terms. Okay. Beyond that, you have to re-register again. But let's say that you have
Yeah.
completed proposal or midterm, let's say, and when you do the next one, you go from the final and not from the midterm. So which means whichever you have completed last, it is cleared until that. Once you
So,
make the payment, it is valid for 2 terms. But
okay.
then beyond that, you have to make a fresh payment and you start from the stage where you have completed.
Okay. So if in case it goes beyond that, I have to make a fresh payment and then I have to complete the
Yes, yeah,
pending part.
because two terms is like, that is why we give 2 terms for the projects, right? So two
Understood,
terms
sir.
is given. Yeah. Beyond that, it is like, anyways, if you have cleared midterm, you start at final. If you have cleared a proposal, you start from midterm. That's all. If you have
So
completed final, then you go with Viva OC.
actually, I was concerned that I will have to restart the entire from the
No, no,
proposal.
no,
So
no. That is why you have to read the FAQs. We have given you the documents. Go back.
thank you.
Every single point that you have is there.
Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
No problem. Ravikant.
Good evening, sir. Sir, my question is, which book would you prefer for unstructured business, New Bold P or Operation Management?
No. See, the thing is, books. Could you please mute yourself? I can hear some music. Ravikant, please mute yourself. Okay, you have to refer. See, the books for unstructured business. There is not. You don't need books actually. You just go to the market and interact. You will find out what it is. The books are especially given like for stats. If you want to understand stats in and out, yes, you would have taken classes and all that. That should also be sufficient. But if you want additional reading materials, this is what we have given. Most important thing is by observation. By observation itself, you will learn a lot of things, right? The document which I and Aditya wrote and which we gave it to you yesterday was just based on our observation and speaking to these vendors. Okay, so observation itself is it, but these all four are worth keeping in your library. Typically, if you ask me, I would recommend 1, 2, 3. Okay, I would
Yeah.
recommend market research. I would recommend Paul Newbold for stats. I would recommend services marketing by Yoken Woods. Okay, yeah. Next question. We go to Tanmay Garg, then Prashant Raj, then Aditya Patak.
Good evening, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
I'm a fourth year student of currently studying in IIT Bhopal, sir, and I'm going through a remote internship in an organized sector. I have told them about the project and they've agreed to continue with it, but they are reluctant to share the data itself. I can
Yeah.
give you
So
the metadata, but it will be very difficult for me to share the data itself.
no, see, the thing is, what happens is you can show them the quid pro book that we have done. And in
Okay.
fact, what happens is the data is only for cross-checking purpose. Once it is checked, we purge it. That's it. It is only shared during your midterm. We check it during that. It is purged. We don't store it anywhere because we have nothing to do with it. So you can tell
Sir,
them that. You can show them the book as well, what we have done. Without data, if there is no, if we cannot verify the authenticity of data, it leads to rejection straight.
and sir, if since I'm in a remote area, all my communications are through online platforms like Gmeet or like
Yeah, that's
anything
fine. You
online.
record it. No, you can always
Yeah,
record it, but we should be in a
record
position
and
where, yeah,
picture.
record it, pictures, more evidence we need so that we can. So there was one
So
student who
for a
kind of.
recording, I'll just want to comment here. Like, you don't take a recording like the person is sitting on his drawing room or in his kitchen and he is giving a authenticated and you're communicating with that person. It should be authenticated. Like, it should be in the office or he should be in the shop or business, whatever is there. It should be in a place. It should be properly authenticated, and then it is validated from. If it is validated from our end, we will able to accept it. Otherwise, it will be rejected. So, as Dr. Ashwin, I think you can just explain the case last time, Ashwin. What
Yeah,
happens?
yeah. I mean, we had, I mean, a person who just kind of just I mean, took his camera out for 5 seconds and he said, "Maine aapko data. I mean, I have given you the data," and he says, "Yes." And I mean, we had to reject it, but at times, I mean, we can tell that you don't do this and all that. But there are students who have done that also.
Yeah.
In such cases, we reject it. We don't recommend that you do it because that is not something which is advisable and it will not help you at all. So please avoid doing such things. And
Some
we've given
students they have
detailed.
taken the picture of his friend birthday picture and just given as
Yeah,
a proof of originality. We have rejected it directly. It should not be
yeah.
official, right? You are doing a project officially. Just share the official pictures or official videos. It should not be if you are in a remote area also, like right. If you don't have a letter to authenticate, if the email whatever you are sharing, it should be from the official email ID. It should not be from personal email ID, right?
Yeah. And one more thing, please fill in the feedback forms. When you fill the feedback forms, we exactly know what is that you want. Suppose you want classes on data analysis, statistics, or let's say pitching. That is how we can accordingly plan and do sessions, because we also have, I mean, while we are very active, we can plan and do sessions in a way. We unfortunately, we are in a profession, we cannot please everybody, but we try our best. We try to do our best, and that is why we do as many documents as possible to help students. And that is why we brought in 2 books as well. Okay, quickly going. Don't ask more than one question. We now go to Prashant Raj, Aditya Patak. Prashant Raj is done, right? Aditya Patak, Sundaram.
No, sir, I'm not done.
Okay, Prashant, yes.
Sir, good evening.
Yeah.
Sir, you mentioned that we should not drop Pareto charts.
Yes.
So I didn't get that. Why?
Okay,
Why
so
you
Pareto
mentioned it?
every business knows what are the 20% products which is contributing to 80% of their profits or losses. That is not something new. Everybody knows it. Okay, if I run a shop, I exactly know which are my top selling products, which are the products for which I'm making losses. So we don't want that. So that is why I said, this is information that can be anyways figured out, right? So don't give us that. It's for that reason. It adds no value.
Okay, and sir, one more.
It's good to know Pareto, but for project we don't want a Pareto.
Oh, right, sir. Sir, what was your problem statement with that coffee shop owner you mentioned?
No, it was not a problem statement with the coffee shop.
It was a case study.
It was a case study.
Oh, right, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Aditya Patak, Ravikant is done. Lower your hands. Aditya Patak, Sri Rakshaga Ankita. Yeah, Aditya Patak.
Yes, good evening, sir. So am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah.
I request those who are there, please fill in the feedback forms. It's very important. Please do fill it. Yeah, go ahead, Aditya.
Yeah, so my question was that I was well, first of all, I haven't actually had time to read all of the documents that you've sent, but my and you may have already answered it in the documents, sir. But I just wanted to ask that I was planning to do this project on the secondary data, right? So you mentioned Kaggle and GitHub and all of those places, right? So my question was that how exactly do we approach this kind of thing, right? So like, do we get a data set for anything that we want? Like, what kind of projects for secondary data are you looking for?
So second, it's the same as that of the primary data. The only difference is that the business, you would have come across this through a blog, or you check their balance sheets and find some discrepancy and want to do an analysis. Let's say that they said that they had some losses and they had some profits, and you want to analyze that. All these details are publicly available. Now what you're going to do is, now you know what the problem statement is, that you want to make an assessment of this, which portfolios are better, so on and so forth. And then the data set is already available on public platforms. You download those data sets, give us details as to where you took this from, then may run a fresh analysis, then draw your own graphs, and then kind of make further inferences. That is what we mean by additional data analysis.
Right, sir. So all of this has to be done using publicly available data, or can we contact the business and get the data from
If
them?
you contact the business and get the data, you have to mute. Yeah, if you contact the business and get the data, it becomes primary data, right? That is why I'm saying that don't go for secondary data in first place. It's of no use. You just get D and D grades. Rather, work a little bit harder. You get primary data, and trust me, close to 8,000 students have completed this. And 8,000 reports were evaluated. 4,000 students would have completed this. I will give you honest figures. The 75% of the students who have completed have liked the project. When this particular project started, 50% tend to hate it. They think that this is very difficult. We need to move out of our comfort zone, so on and so forth. But then when you start to do this, you fall in love with this. Okay. So my suggestion to you is don't go with secondary data, go with primary data, work a bit harder. You will get that intrinsic satisfaction. Not just that, this can be used especially when you go out for your jobs, your internships, or anything that you want. What people see is not your S grades or 10 points. What people see is what kind of project you have made, what is the kind of impact that this project has made. That is what has happened. And you can also, if you don't trust me, go back and check your code HR video towards the end. The CEOs come and say that while we run data analysis firms, we did not see something like this, where simple data was used and analysis was done. So that is why my recommendation
So
is prime.
basically, what we can suggest, like you people are not, you are a student of IIT Madras. So like some quality or some struggle should be reflected because you are having some value in the market, right? You are enrolled in IIT and after some time you will be alumnus of IIT Madras. So the
Yeah,
quality should reflect, right? So you need
it
to do
should
some
reflect.
hard work that should be make you different from others, right? So secondary data option is always there for you, right? If you are not able to just do it in two terms, you find like okay, it is difficult. So that is the last option. It's always for you. But just give a effort and just do it. That is what our suggestion is all about.
Oh, okay, okay. So
No more
what would
questions.
happen?
You're done with two questions. Raise your
Okay,
hand
okay.
later. Okay. Sri Rakshaka.
Good evening, sir.
Yep.
Hi, sir. So, if you are collecting the unstructured data, how many data should be there in the sheet, sir? That
more
is,
is always better. It depends on the problem that you want to solve. Okay. If you capture more data points, it is always better to you for using, right? So if you're doing it, let's say from a vegetable business, if you do it for a 1 month versus 3 month, there is a lot of difference. Like 3 months gives you a longitudinal impact, with 1 month you may not add, it may not add much value. Okay, so that is one thing. Second thing that what I was saying is the more variety that you have. If you have more columns, which means you have more data, then more variety can be captured. Let's say you do it for 1 month on a daily basis, but with more columns. You don't want to do more than 1 month, but with more columns, now you have more variety to offer. So that is why more is always better.
oh, okay, sir. Sir, a project is to give the solution for the identified
Business
problem
problem. Yes.
based on the data with the help of analysis and
You,
measurement.
I'll explain it again in simple words. You reach out to a business, identify the problem or problems that they face, collect data pertaining to the problem. Okay, then do the data cleaning, do the analysis, and provide insights which should help you address the research problem, business problem.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, Ankita Ghoshal, Sandeep Sri Kumar.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, actually, I'm a final year student and I have to travel for internship and I have my college location at different city. So collecting unstructured data weekly, it will be tough for me. So only option I am left out with is structured data. For that, I need to approach some well-structured business, and
Not just
how
that. No,
will they?
you don't have to go weekly. You can just ask them to fill it. If you
Yeah.
plan to do with unstructured, you can tell them that I'll reach
So
out after 2 weeks or 3 weeks and can I come and take it. That is one more approach that you can
so
use, right?
we are
Sir,
not
can I?
bounding you to collect the data from any of the particular business. Like it depends upon you. Whatever the business you want to select, you can select it freely. You can take a shop nearby your hometown, nearby your home also. That is fine. You don't have any foundation on the business. And the other thing is that once you are having, after 2 to 3 meetings, when you are submitting the proposal, you have a sufficient time. You don't have to go them again and again, right? So once you are getting a data, they can send you data via WhatsApp. They can send you data via email. Once you are getting a data, right, then you don't have to visit again and again. But one thing I want to suggest to all, this is something like you are doing for a business. So quid pro quo means like return to return. What you are gaining from someone in return, what you are giving it to someone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
something is that when you are just doing the project, you are putting an effort, right? So at last, you can take a testimonials and you can assure like whatever the suggestions you are giving in the project, it should be implemented,
Yeah.
right? So you'll also get a confidence, like you have given a 10 suggestions amongst that 10 suggestions, what exactly the transformation of business happens, right? So at the end of the project, like when you're giving a Viva, just try to get some testimonials from the business owner. This will not, it will not give us something, but it will give you a confidence to you, right? So whatever you have done a analysis, you have done hard work for 4 months, and this is what the result of this 4 month hard work. right?
Yeah.
Sir, one
So
more question.
no,
Uh,
one more question. Just
no,
one
no, no.
question.
Just
No,
one
no,
favor.
one.
No. You
Just
have to
one
go at the
favor.
end. No, at the end, because we have 31 hands raised. We have to go
Sir,
for
just a
everybody.
favor. So can you
Yeah.
provide us LOR so that we can approach some good
No,
business structure?
there is a doc LOR what? There is a document which is kind of provided. It will be made available in the dashboards of everyone by the end of this month. I'll check with Sindhuja and
LOR
these
is
we,
different. You have to put a correct word. LOR is something different. You have to take a letter from our organization. So IIT from our side, we are providing the letter which
Yes,
says
yes.
like you are collecting a data for this project. It will be uploaded in your dashboard, right? So you don't have to send us a mail that yeah, when you will get a letter, when you will get a letter, it will automatically upload it in your
yeah,
dashboard.
in
So
1 to 2
don't
weeks
worry.
time. Yeah,
Within
2 weeks time.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, fine. So please fill in the feedback forms. Request once all because there are 200. We have just received 30. So I request you to please fill in the feedback form. Sandeep, Sentur Kumaran, and then Ashwin Kumar. Yes.
Yes, hello, sir.
Sir,
This is
good
Senthur
evening.
here.
Sandeep, yes.
Yeah, so I have a business retailing automotive parts. Can I just use data from my business? And
Yes. You can use
if
from your own business.
how do I
So
authenticate
one
it
thing I
then?
want to say, one thing I want to say, like I have got three questions in a similar way. Like if it is your business, right? It is the best opportunity for you to find the bottleneck in your business. Some people, what they are doing, they are having a business, they are doing a service survey from the third party. So if this is what exactly you are getting an opportunity to find the problem in your business and try to rectify it. So that like whatever the project, whatever insights you're getting, it is for you only, right? It will able to enhance your business. So it is a good point. Like those who are taking their own business, it is a good point, and this is a good opportunity for you to just implement your learnings in your own business, right? Because you know what exactly the pattern, how what problems are coming. So you are the one who can do it like in a perfect way. So yeah.
No,
So
my
this
question
data
was more about
authenticity.
how I would authenticate. Like
Yeah.
I,
So
yeah, like should I
correct.
take just selfies of me working at my own business
Yeah,
or?
No. So
you would have your own
basically,
letterhead and other details, right? Your tin tan or something like
Yeah,
that,
we have a
which we could.
letterhead.
your
Yeah,
GST teenage there, na? So you can include that thing also. There is no
yeah. So
issue
Oh,
if
at
you're
all.
a proprietor, you have your own thing saying that this is your own business.
Certificate
Your
is there.
proprietor
Yeah.
certificate is that. That's enough for us.
it's in Qatar, so there's no like tax GST
No, that's
documents or
okay.
anything.
That's fine. That doesn't matter.
Okay, all right, thank you.
As long as we are able to verify, we are okay.
All right, okay.
Yeah, Sentur Kumaran, Ashwin, and then
Yes, sir.
Arya.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
This is Senthur here. Sir, so currently I stay at VIT Vellore, and
Okay.
I've chosen the business as my aunts and uncles' dental clinic. They basically run a chain of dental clinics at Chennai.
Hmm.
So the meeting and meeting them and collecting that, asking them about the problems and eventually collecting data would become a little bit tough, sir. So what they have done is they basically give the portal to me to access the data,
Hmm.
and I'm able to access it, sir.
No,
Now
that's
the
what it
only
is.
problem I'm facing is
The problem is
when the
you're collecting the data first. That's what I'm saying. It's not the
yes,
data that you need to do.
no, sir.
First,
I've
I need.
collected the problem statements also, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Then it is okay.
Yes, sir. So after this, what trouble I'm facing is I'm not able to regularly meet them and make it as a video session, sir.
Do it
So
via
is it
Gmeet. No, Gmeet, Zoom. You do it and record it. That's it.
okay,
No,
sir?
they are
And
known person to you. They are your uncle and auntie, right? So you can
yes,
just
sir.
have a
They are the
conversation over the call.
find my
Yeah. So you
close
can,
circle last
if you
one.
are, if you are just analyzing the report or you are analyzing the data, if you are finding any difficulties, if you are finding any random trends, if you want some clarification, just give them a call and just get the details.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. That's it.
So I'll
Thank
tell
you.
you one example. I'll give you one girl who was there in Dubai. She has done a project from India, Kerala, right? So distance, it doesn't matter, right? If you have resources, if you know how to do it, you can do it properly.
Yeah, that's what. So that's and she won the best capstone project too. You can see in that Quid Pro Quo book, Rashina or something, and I think she did really well. There are many students like this. We just covered top 15. We will be bringing out volume 2, 3, 4 in the future, but yeah, we had to do it quickly, so we did it. Yeah. Okay. So we now
Okay,
move
sir.
to
Thank you.
Ashwin Kumar, and then Arya, then Akash. Ashwin, Ashwin Kumar Mahesh Sharma, not there. Arya.
Sir, good evening, sir. Actually, some days before, I went to a retail shop, which is basically a stationery shop, and he just purchased. I mean, some person come and give them the product, and he stores it and then sells it. And when I discussed some of the problems, he said there were some bundles of copies, and he said they are gonna be sold next year only. And there were only some products, not so much product. Almost half of the shop was filled. So and he was storing a data in diaries only.
Yeah,
He was just
that's the
maintaining
beauty of
diaries.
it, right? So what you do is
Yeah.
you can do an assessment of the past and then compare like with what is happening now. You can, one way is to make a pre and post comparison, like last particular year what was done, and identify, ask him what were the problems. Fast moving, this will be a classic inventory problem for you, especially when you deal with retail. You can identify fast moving, slow moving, non moving stock, economics of order quality, quantity, how much was the reorder time, how much time was lost, what was the profits made. All this can be computed. You can take one particular quarter and do for that.
Okay,
Don't
so
do it for the current quarter, don't do it for the current quarter, do it for the previous quarters, and then do an assessment.
but he may not have the those datas
Okay,
because he had
whatever he has, you can do one thing. In that case, if you're doing, do it for whatever he has got. At least if he's writing in diaries, it should be there for something, no? So you can ask him to do it from this point of time, but I'm sure there should be something. So the key here is to have a proper interaction and ask him what he has done prior, how he has stored it, and does he remember anything. If not, what you can do is you can suggest a paper. What students actually made is they made a A4 paper, they put all things very very nicely written, and they gave it, and the person had to make entries. So this is how it was done. It was shown in a very structured manner, and because of that, this vegetable vendor, who was not very much empowered, who made a business of 2000, profit of 2000, it went up to 14,000. As I said, right, it was like a 7x growth. So this is what is the power of simple things. So you can do that. You can try different things out. First, have a proper interaction with him or her.
Okay, sir.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So the next is from Akash.
Yes, sir. Actually, sir, in the session you mentioned about the Gantt chart, I am working in a project management team, so I just wanted to know which type of Gantt chart we are doing. Are
Any
we?
Gantt chart works. Any Gantt chart works. So Gantt chart here means from start to end. So from your project start to end, what is the time period you plan? Let's say that for now your plan is for 3 months. Then you show this is how I'm going to approaching a business from this date, from this day of the month to this month. I mean, just show it in months. Split it into like 4 pies, showing 4 weeks. You understood what I'm saying? One
Yes,
cell
sir.
is 1 week. Show it this way. There may be some cases where you need to complete one stage to proceed to the next stage, or it could go parallelly. You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
that is
Like
how
a
you
sprint
can
agile,
you
agile
can just
sprint.
yeah, you can chart in any form that you like.
Okay.
It should be a Gantt chart. That's it. Okay. Sri Haripriya Naman Anmar.
Good evening, sir. Thank you so much for the enlightening session into this huge horizon of the business sector itself. I have a doubt, like as Dr. Aditya said, that in order to collect the data and to get comfortable with the vendors and understand the problem statement, we'll have to interact with them for some 2 to 3 sessions. Sir. So, for the video evidence as such, is it necessary that every session has to be recorded, or is there
Not
any
every session,
some?
just one video we need recording, okay, which should be 3 to 8 minutes. So during the proposal, you don't need. Once after your proposal is done, just have an interaction with them, ask them what is the problem about you. See, the best time to record the video, you have to provide video during the midterm. The best thing to do is once you speak to them, do some analysis. When you show it to them, and if they're happy, that is when you do it. Not do it before that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Okay.
So
So,
basically, I'll tell you, it is not a project; it's a journey. So if you record it, it should be a memory, and it should be
You can record
basically
fully also if you want.
yeah. It's basically depend upon you and the owner, business owner. If they're comfortable, you can record it, and it's when you are just showing, like if you get opportunity to showcase next year in front of the industry people, you have all the journey, so it will be quite motivating for you as well, right? So it depends upon you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Naman Anmar Ajit.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes. So my question is like I have contacted
organization. It is a structured post journalism firm, and they have been like looking for some data analysis to happen on the data they have collected. So after speaking to them, if my problem statement aligns with the historically collected data that they have, can I use that data, or I have to like start data collection from the moment I contact them?
No. See, the thing is, you can go with historical one, provided your problem statement is more of the if they are interested in something which is historical in nature, right? They want to see what is something good that they have done in the past or bad that they have done in the past and want to learn from that. Then the data that you take is of the past. You cannot take the data of the present. You understand? So that is why the way you define your problem statement matters. So if the problem statement is to find an assessment of to identify what practices went wrong in the past and how to improve them, then you're using past data and not the present data, where past data would be used to make an assessment on the future decisions. So
Yes,
it
sir.
depends on the way you define the problem statement.
Thank you, sir.
No problem. We go with Anmar Ajit Shivapriya.
Yes, thank you, Doctor. My question would be that we have three major submissions. We have the proposal, the midterm, and the final. I've understood that once we have collected the data, and I mean, first I've understood what the problem statement I'm going to go for, and I've collected the data. I make my proposal, and once I've completed, like I have my problems solved. I make the final submission. When exactly do I make the midterm submission? That's what I'm not clear on. Is it just the next month from the proposal, or
No.
I have
Midterm. So
1 month
once
of
you see, the thing is, you can submit midterm only if your proposal is accepted. Okay, your gate for the next stage opens when you clear the preceding stage. So if you clear the proposal, your gate for the midterm opens, and then you have to prepare midterm as per the rubrics that we have given. So if you look at the rubrics, everything is explained in detail, what is needed, what is not needed. I mean, we have clearly mentioned what is the component that you need. So let's say that you do the proposal, your problem statement remains the same throughout the duration of the project, right? So that is what it is.
No, I was trying to ask was if once I've completed my problem statement, like I've solved the problem statement, then that's when I go for the midterm, or
No,
do
no,
I
no,
do
no,
it
no, 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 no. You don't
before?
solve the
No,
problem
no.
statement at all, right? Yeah, Aditya, go.
No. So basically, the problem statement, whatever is there, it should be come under the proposal. Once your proposal is accepted, then you have to move on to the midterm, right? If your proposal is rejected, right, somehow like it's not proper, then again you have to submit a proposal in the next cycle, right? So once the stage of a proposal is accepted, then only you will be able to submit your midterm. Portal will not
I
open.
think I think I'm unable to put up my question clearly. So I have come up with a problem statement. My proposal is accepted.
Okay.
Now I'm working on my problem statement. Once
Okay.
I have a good solution for it, only then I make the midterm, or while I'm working towards it, even if like if I'm
No,
not
midterm is
completely
preliminary. No, so whatever you have done, see, your final will have complete answers for all that.
complete,
Midterm is,
yeah.
yeah, that is coming in the
Yeah,
final.
yeah.
In midterm, you're doing whatever WIPs you have done, half thing that you've done, but at least there should be 2 or 3 graphs which should be able to kind of point towards that. Yes, it is making an attempt to solve this. However, the full picture is shown in the final submission.
Understood. And
Okay.
also, if
And
I
one
come
more
up with a yeah.
One question only. One question only.
One
Yes.
question only. One more thing I'll tell you. One more thing I want to mention to you all. Right. So basically, what is happening? So the evolution, what we are doing, it's something from the portal itself, and it is first come first serve basis, right? So if you are submitting your proposal or whatever the submission on the first day, you'll get a priority. Like on first, we are opening the proposal. If you're submitting on the first, your proposal will get a priority and it will be corrected before. If you're submitting on the last day, we are not responsible because last day we are getting a lot of proposals. It might be the case you are able to lose the submission cycle for the next submission dates for the next submission. Like if you are in a proposal, you are not able to meet or complete the submission for midterm. So we are not responsible for that. That is why we are telling just don't wait for the last moment, submit it before. If some operation issues are there, we are not able to help you out, then you have to wait again for a month to submit it again. So be careful. We are very strict with the timeline. We are telling it now. We are very strict with the timeline. If you are losing the timeline, if you are having some issues, we will not able to address. We have given some certain timelines, like if you have some technical issues, you can report us at this particular time. After then, we are not able to help you out,
Yeah,
right?
you can also
So
find it out
just
from
be
your
aware of
seniors.
this.
We are brutal when it comes to timelines. I mean, at least we are the bad guys with that. We don't give extensions and all that. So we are very, very particular
Yeah.
about it. So, I mean,
Yeah.
there is no extension
Because the
whatsoever.
count is because the count is too high, right?
Yeah,
So it
the
is
count
not
is.
possible for us to give you. And here, a lot of students are registered. So if everybody will just define his own timeline, it will be very difficult for us. So once the portal is open, you are able to submit it on. There should be no
Yeah,
manual
yeah.
submission,
Aditya, we still have
right?
21 questions. Okay. Ajit Kumar.
Thank you, sir, and thanks, Dr. Ashwin, Dr. Adit. This is really a great course, first of all, and I have attended nearly. I have joined this last semester. So I
Okay.
started with secondary data and then my organization data, but I definitely agree when I started with primary data because that looked way more interesting. The project actually went beyond the like scheduled line, so I am planning to submit it this time. So my question is, like, I started the survey in March. The survey is still going on because it's a small like structure. So the data collection is a bit slow. So
Okay.
is it fine that I use that survey that has been like I have been using from that time to June or July?
Yeah, that's
That's
okay. I mean, that doesn't matter. I mean, that's not a problem. So whatever till whatever time period you completed, you can do an analysis of that and submit. And at a final submission stage, let's say that if you have done more, then you can say that, this is a something which is ongoing and now you have considered it up to this time period. That's fine because then your everything is going to change.
okay. And sorry, one more question. I was doing a lot of
No,
literature.
we'll stick with one question.
You
Maybe
you
you
raise
can
your
just
hands
come.
again. You raise your hands again.
Yeah,
So that is
yeah.
why one salient question, one important question only. We'll come back again.
So
Shivapriya.
yeah, we'll come back, and in case if you have any issues or problems, you can come on a Sunday session. We can address it on
Yeah.
details. So
Shivapriya.
because here the counts are more, we'll restrict it to one question.
Sure, sure.
Shivapriya. Yeah, Shivapriya.
Yes, sir. Sir, my question is that in case of small scale businesses, we can't expect to have large amount of data, no, sir. So in that
That's
case, how
not the
can
case.
we?
Actually, they do have large things. So what happens with small scale businesses is they don't store things. So what you can do in such cases is that you first go have an interaction, observe, spend some 1 hour with them, try to understand what is happening, see how they are actually, dealing with this data. Are they doing it or not in first place? That will give you an idea. Then go back, make your own sheet, kind of give it to them, ask if it is okay, if they can capture it this way, kind of go and show the book that we have, what kind of impact that has been made. I think that is the power of convincing, which we will deal after 2 weeks, not now. They in fact have large amount of data. It's a myth that they don't have this thing. They do have, but they don't keep it right in right places, right? So that's where the challenge is. Okay, Manish Upal, Bhargavi then.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yeah.
My question pertains to larger organizations
Mhm.
from, let us say, hospitals, electricity boards, or something like that.
Mhm.
What is the end point where we have to reach? Because let us say I identify a problem, or I ask them what are their ground level problems. We
No,
get
you
it.
you you need to
Yeah.
ask them, Manish. See, you identifying a problem is different, and they telling their problems is different. So first thing is the businesses would know the problem better than you doing. You asking, I mean, you finding out on your own, right? Because they might be doing it on a daily basis, unless and until you're a part of the system. So identify a problem, and if you have something that you observed, let's say you spend some time and you identify, you can even ask them, and then find out which problem is much better. Okay, and
Mm,
then based on that, you can take a call. Ask them which do you think is better. Ask
No,
them,
no,
ask
no.
feedback.
Okay, okay. That was just a scenario. Anybody defines the problem, but
Anybody defines
which
the
is the
problem.
end? Which is the
And
end point where I have to
whatever
reach?
the contribution that you do is a small drop in the ocean. There's not like a perfect solution, but you're attempting to give them a solution which is giving them certain insights. So for one particular problem, there can be 10 solutions, right? You're
Yeah.
giving one possible solution. So there is nothing like an endpoint. One particular solution, two or three solutions, whatever that you get from your analysis is the outcome. But it should
And but
help address a business
uh,
problem.
okay, but let us say that like you said that there are 20 products and 8 are giving them losses. I tell them to have a parallel type of 8 products and run a pilot with them and see which one gives the best results. But they say we have this in mind, but the budget does not allow us. So does this make my contribution valuable, or is
No,
it
no.
defunct?
How is it a contribution? Because nothing is happening, right? So if see the thing is for a business, if they don't want to do it, and if you're suggesting something to them which they don't want to, what do you say, execute because of source constraints, then it is not a contribution. Something that you're doing, which is actually, now they are not doing it because of resource constraints, but you did something which is actually not involving them waste their resources. That is actually a contribution. You understood what I said?
But what if it is a government organization? I give
Government
my
organization,
certifications.
yeah, government organization is sarkari, so you can try it out. I have to read your problem statement to kind of, I mean, I will have to read your proposal. You can send us an email or attend session of Aditya on Sunday, and then we can discuss it there and then see further. Because without seeing the problem, I'll not be able to tell you.
Okay.
Government, it will be pretty difficult there because there are some policies. Like previously, one student has done the project for a bank, right? For State Bank of India, they are trying, and he is trying to do, but it is pretty difficult because they have some policies which are coming from the ministry. So if they want, they will not able to change the policies, right? So it is very difficult to change the policies for the results, right?
Yeah, it's not easy. Not easy. Yeah. So
It's
Bhargavi,
challenging. It's challenging.
So
Bhargavi,
उस
then
केस
Kritik.
में उसका वो प्रपोजल इज इट डिफंक्ट कि अब वो तो पॉलिसी की वजह से रिस्ट्रिक्ट हो रहा है. मेरा
No,
मेन
no.
क्वेश्चन
Then it
यही
is
है.
then it is not a contribution in first place. No, you're proposing them something,
Yeah,
but it is
yeah,
not
yeah.
being worked on. How does it become a contribution? You can say that these
Yeah.
were the things given, but see again, application is not happening of the same. Anything that you give, which is something which is doable for them. You understand what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
proposing a solution, but something which is executable. That is a contribution, not something which is not executable.
And if executed, then
No.
do you require it on a letterhead or something that yes, he
No,
proposed
no,
and we executed it?
no. That you will be giving us in
We
midterm.
don't require anything.
We don't require, but
Okay.
in the end, if they say that yes, they really did see an impact, and
You
best
can
projects
do.
were
You can
decided.
do it basically. Yeah, you can do it. There is no issues.
So
You can take a
if
data from
if it is to
MSME.
be
You can do
featured
it.
in
Yeah.
if it is to be featured in best projects, then it should go above and beyond something, right? So best
Yeah.
project means something that goes above and beyond. So that if you want to
We are
fall in,
not saying you can't do it. You can take a data. You can do it. We are not saying you can't do it. But the problem is that, like, if you are, what exactly give you a motivation? It's something like when you're doing a project, it should reflect from other end, right? They'll give you
Yeah.
application. It should be implemented. You can see the changes. This will be the motivating point. But in case if you are getting a data, you are able to analyze for the local branch and you see like what effect your project is doing. It will be good. We don't have any issues, right? But sometime what happens, like as for the previous experience, what we have seen, like you are giving some recommendation, you are asking for the data. Initially, they'll say, okay, I'll give you. But once you are moving with the project, they'll neglect,
yeah.
right? They'll not give you all the data. So you'll come to know about these
No, no,
things
no,
later
no, sir.
stage. But it is fine. But it is
Getting
fine.
data is not a problem for me. Let us say I had a
Yeah.
discussion, I got the data, I did the process, and after all the analysis, I said
Then it is
that
fine. You
okay,
can
these
proceed.
these are my analysis, and if implemented, they are going to
Yeah, that is what it
enhance your
is. Yeah.
turnover by so and so.
If it is a valid business problem, if it is a valid business problem, it
Yeah.
will get accepted, right? So you can just give a try because we also don't know what exactly it is all about. So maybe I can just
Until and
Ashwin, we
unless
can
we
just
read
take
it,
other question.
yeah. Until and unless we read,
Thanks.
we cannot tell you concretely. Bhargavi.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'll discuss on Sunday again, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Hello, sir. Like in the previous term, like I submitted my proposal with primary data and my proposal got accepted. Now the shop owner is not willing to give the proof of originality. Like he's not willing to take videos or photos or
Yeah, you
anything.
wanted to do secondary, no? Just send us an email mentioning the same, and we will disable this thing and give you a secondary route.
Or like, can I go with another primary data? Maybe.
You can do yeah. We will reset this, and you can do it primary as well. No problem.
So, like, should I send a mail to you or to the support
Yeah,
team?
you have to send a mail to me asking to reset. Mention the reasons.
Okay.
Yeah. So if anybody want to reset, right, you need a permission. It should not be automatically. It should be resetted. So if you are changing from primary to secondary, you need approval. You can send us a mail. We'll give you approval. or if you are just switching it from secondary to primary, you need to take approval, right?
For
And
everything,
one more
approvals.
thing, like if you are changing the business, right, then also you need to take approval, right? If you are submitting proposal for some different business and again you want to switch it up, you have to send a mail. You have to give a justification why you are just switching it the business. Because what exactly previously happened is students, because they are getting a lesser marks, they are just changing the business and just submitting, doing the project again. So we'll not accept if it is not a valid reason. Yeah. So you have to send us a mail. We'll just review it and we'll just give approve. So it will be changed.
Yeah. So next questions. Uh, Kitiksha, Mohammed.
Yes, sir, Kitiksha.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sir, I've just started my diploma level and I'm currently on week 2 of BDM course. Also, I'm attending an offline college, but I'm just in first year. So you can see
my
that
my my recommendation is that you complete 8 to 9 weeks and then start your BDM capstone project, given the constraints that you have, because
Okay,
a
okay.
little bit of understanding is better before you do the project. Because look, the thing is, it's always better to have some understanding of concepts, some hands on before you do the project. You can do it parallelly, but the outcome may not be the way if you're serious about the project. Okay, and if you're
Correct,
serious, because see, this really levels up your resume, right? So my sincere suggestion is that, wait for 8 to 9 weeks, learn the concepts well, master it, and then go with it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
No problem. Muhammad
Okay,
Abdul
Ashwin.
Jawad.
So, Ashwin, I will take a leave.
Okay, I'll be there.
Maybe
Yeah.
I'll meet you all on Sunday, right? So, wish you all the best to all. So, don't worry about it. Just do a project, give your best, and you will be able to do the project. Don't worry, don't hesitate to put us a pin. And by this, I'll just say you bye to all, and we'll meet you on Sunday. Bye.
So I'll be there. I'll answer your queries. Please let me know quickly, one by one. Yes. Muhammad Abdul Jawad is done, I guess.
No, sir,
Oh,
it's
okay.
not.
Sorry.
Uh, I'm working as a salesman and I'm doing the project for the same company, same shop which I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I had submitted my midterm submission during November.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I had tried to improvise the sales and everything. And fortunately, it got like developed 20%
Mm-hmm.
within last 6 months.
Okay.
So, shall I mean, if I'm submitting the final submission, shall
Mhm.
I go with the updated data or the
you
old
you
one?
go you can go with the updated data. It's good, no, for you, because ultimately, see, if I would suggest, always go with something new, because it will be a learning for you as well. See, it's an option that you have, but going with an updated data helps you out. But if you think it is difficult, it is fine, you go with the previous one.
No, actually, it's good to go with the updated data
then
because
then I would suggest to go with the updated one, because see,
so the figures won't. I mean, it's like the sale average sales during my midterm submission and the current if I'm going for the
that
submission.
doesn't matter. That you can
That
just
doesn't.
mention that you have collected more data, and this is the data currently corresponding to this date, and that is why the
Okay.
figures are changing. That one line you have to write,
Okay. Sure. Thank you
right?
so much.
Okay. Please fill in the feedback forms. Not many of you have filled. Piyush Gupta, Manas Gupta, Asta.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Piyush.
So actually, I had a conversation with two or three business units,
Hmm.
of different business units,
Hmm.
like coaching one, or a grocery store.
Hmm.
One thing came common in that there was a load shedding
Mm-hmm.
electricity.
Hmm.
Uh, in grocery store, some were selling milks, so it was getting expired.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah,
So it is a classic
perishable.
problem of how much losses that have incurred because of this. You can
Yeah,
do this. You can do this analysis.
yeah. But I worked. I asked electrician, the one who collects the bill.
Okay.
So he told that some people are directly stealing the electricity.
No, that cannot
So
be quantified. No. So what you do is
yeah,
you get hold of a business, try to identify how much losses they're incurring because of this. Then do it on a particular basis and see what is that they have to do, or what should be the kind of stocking to avoid these losses or minimize this. That is what you can work on.
yeah. Because of that load shedding, the refrigerator are not getting proper electricity.
Yeah, so you
So
can also mention what are the after effects of that. It's not just to do with the products, but also, I mean, what do you say, like milk or other things, but also has an impact on the electronic products as well, right? So frequent
Yeah.
load shedding, and it is actually causing problems. Yeah, this would be a
Yeah.
good one to work, but with a
Yeah.
specific business.
And the other problem I got from that store is that there are two or three grocery stores. One grocery store has enclosed the government land,
Mhm.
pedestrian
You
area.
cannot. It
So,
is difficult to work on that because it cannot
yeah,
be
yeah.
quantified.
Yeah, because the one new customer who is going by road cannot
Mhm.
see the shop.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. So it is difficult. The first one can be done. The second one is difficult to quantify.
Yeah. So the shopkeeper told, भैया आप आईआईटी में पढ़ते हो, वहां से बात कर लो, हमारा एमएलए नहीं सुनता है, एमपी नहीं सुनता है.
It's what do I tell? So yeah, I mean, so that is why I say, like, I mean, nothing on the political side, but go with the first one.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Manas Gupta.
So there's some of us who've taken the BDM course along with the project. So can you give me like a roadmap on how I should be going about this?
My suggestion is that go through the concepts very well. See, most of the times, firstly, don't you have to see the kind of impact this project makes, and how is that, this project, how is that you see yourself doing this particular project. Anything that you take is to be done seriously. The first thing that you have to do is master the concepts of BDM, and mastering the concepts of BDM happens when it is like, around 9 weeks you're very clear with the content, and you can do it parallelly. If you are a little proactive, you can prepare in advance because the videos are anyways online, which makes your job easier, right? uh, and then parallelly you can see what is happening. You can use it that time to refine things and kind of build it and improve. Mastering is very much needed because
Mhm.
let's say you don't know the basics, you go with the project, you are making many mistakes which could have been avoided if you knew the basics well.
Right.
Okay, fine. Asta.
Yes, sir. So actually, because of some location constraints, I was thinking to go with organized sector so
Mhm.
that actually I'll have to be traveling for my college so that I can be in contact with them online also.
Mhm.
So will it be an issue if I go for a company, proper structured company, and ask them for any problem statement that they can provide me, like?
Yeah, I mean, you can do it. I mean, see, we just said unorganized because organized businesses have processes in place, but still they could have blind spots. So it is perfectly
Right.
fine. I mean, if you want to go with organized, you can go with organized. It doesn't
And
matter.
have an interview with the HR if that's not a HR or any manager. Matlab, obviously, I can't do it with the founder or something because it's a proper
No, that's
company.
okay.
So
That's okay. That's okay. You can speak to the HR or any executive, but you should satisfy all the heads which is asked in the rubrics. As long as that is done, it's a business problem. You have a data driven approach. I think you're good to go.
and is it necessary that whatever solution that we propose has to be implemented by them?
No, no,
Suppose
no.
if
It's
they're
not
not.
like that. See, they may not implement it, but they may keep it at the back of the mind. It's not that they implement it. See, as I said, for every problem, there could be 10 solutions. Okay. There could be 10, 15 different solutions, and you are giving one of the solutions. Okay. It is up to them to implement or not. But when we read it, we'll get to know the kind of how the solution has emerged, what is the quality, so on and so forth. So we just look at that.
It won't affect evaluation.
No, no, it will
Like,
not affect.
okay.
As long
Thank
as it is good, it is done properly in a systematic way, it will not affect.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Pennu Pratap, Suman Balu, Binayak Banerjee.
Sir, I have spoken to a retail poultry small shop, sir.
Mhm.
But as such, they are not able to specifically say any of the problems that they are having.
Mhm. Mhm.
But since since they are not recording it on any system or specific ledgers or something like that, so they
Mhm.
sales and income,
Mhm.
but they give on credit, and if we have a computer or something, we can quickly analyze the credits, who is taking more credit, and whether they are repaying it or not. That's one advantage they are saying when I am talking to them. What are the problems you are facing?
No,
So
actually, see, the thing
uh,
is, see, in some cases, that is where, in cases where the data is kind of not kind of available, then the second thing that you could do is service. You could do
yes,
surveys and try to identify, take customer feedback, then quantify it, and then give them some solutions. That is the second path. Okay,
Yes.
in cases
So
where the data is not good or where they say anything, the second thing is to do it the reverse way, do surveys and do something, or kind of speak to the customers, try to identify what they have, what they like about them, what they dislike about them, then try to quantify and find things, so on and so forth. But I mean, this is a chicken shop, right?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so basically in chicken show, I'm a vegetarian, so I don't know, but my guess is that there may be different breeds of chicken, right? So
Yes.
one way is to kind of find how much is going, which is going more, which is going less, what kind can be clubbed to kind of make it more attractive. This is one that you can think of. What is going more, what is going less, where the demand is high, what time period it is going. You get the point.
Yes.
All this can
Yeah.
be kind of
That
found out.
one point they were discussing, sir. During some
Ye-
festivals, it is a purely vegetarian
Yeah,
season
yeah, 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 yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
So their
Yeah,
income
because
levels are going from the shop. It
yeah,
is
yeah,
low
yeah.
during those times.
Mm. Yeah,
So
in India,
that thing
I
they
mean,
are
I mean,
also.
basically, there are people who are vegetarians on certain days of the week and all that. So all these things will be there. So given these things, yeah. So one way is for you to do that. Otherwise, you can do a survey and do it, or you can use a combination of both. That is the other way, third way.
Actually, I also have my own data, sir. I work in a small fuel station actually.
That is
So
the
I
best
have
one actually. So you would be knowing the problems better. So I think that would be better for me. In from my end, this thing, I think that is better. Fuel shop.
so right. So, yeah, fuel shop. So
That is what I would
basically, it's
recommend.
only. I have a data in Excel. I personally was recording data for past 2 to 3 years actually.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So, but I'm not able to make any inference from my own data. I don't know how effectively I have
No,
collected
it's
the
okay.
data
So
and will
what
it be
what
useful for the
what what
project?
you could do is you could check it with your colleagues. You can just see. You don't have to this thing. You can speak and find out like what are the different reasons. What see? In fact, the best what do you say? The best experts to find an organization's inherent problems are its own employees. Unfortunately, organizations at times don't realize it and kind of delegate it to others, right? So you can speak to your colleagues, find out what it is, try to dig out more information, and then you can make an analysis. This, in fact, will help your own organizations, and you never know that
Exactly.
this may help you get something else. So that is what I think. So I think you should be going with your own thing. Okay,
Right, right.
Suman Balu.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, sir. From my end, the question is, the business owner I am approaching, he has posted a question to me that after the completion of this project, would they be able to use this IIT project in displaying in their
Yeah,
website portfolio?
yes.
Okay,
As
they
long as
are
you and the business do not have a problem, we don't have a problem. If you guys want to kind of disclose it, we don't mind.
all
So
right.
that's
Okay.
yeah, that's okay with us.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
hello. Sir,
The next one second, it's Binayak. Yes, then Siddharth Pandey. Yes, Binayak.
sir, when we are going to collect data from unstructured business, mainly
Hmm.
bazaar or medical shop or flower business like this, they may not be storing computerized databases for
Exactly. That
keeping
is
data.
exactly. They may write it in papers or they may not maintain it as well.
Yes,
So that
yes.
is what I was exactly saying. That point of time, what you have to do is you kind of have to give them papers and kind of make notes. So that is the way. That is the
Sir,
only way.
if they store data in form of notebooks, actually, mainly grocery
You
stores
have
keep.
to you have to note it down. You have to come back. You have to build it on your Excel, and then you have to clean it. That is
Okay,
what the process.
I can refine and take my own
Yeah,
data from that.
yeah. You
Okay.
give them a sheet, right? Yeah.
Depending upon my problem, I need to collect what data I require
Yes, yes,
for
yes,
solving.
yes. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
Got it. Yeah, and I've given the link for my pitching session. Please don't put comments in the chat because I cannot. I'm not a Superman to kind of answer questions and take comments from same time. It is not possible when there are 15, 20 comments. We cannot address both these things. So let me just answer the queries which is raised by hand. So please ask it there rather than putting in the chat box. Okay. Uh, Let me check who is next. Siddharth Pandey, Vinay, Tejaswini.
Hello.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
So, sir, I heard you saying that you need the data which will on which we'll be doing the analysis. So, like
Correct.
you have to see the data to like verify if it's original or
Yes,
not.
yes, yes.
So, I mean, what happens if the business owner is not willing to share the data with anyone else except me? Like,
No,
is
that's
it
what we.
possible to?
No, the thing is, one thing is that the data IIT Madras, as you know, doesn't keep it. And this is a live session where I'm telling it. It's going to be recorded and put on YouTube as well, whatever I'm saying. So you can show this to him. Second thing is a letter will be issued to you. The quid pro book is also there. Third thing, if the business owner has doubt, you can write a mail to you can send an email to me clarifying the same, and I can write to him and say that it is just for checking purpose and it will be purged. We don't keep it. We don't retain any data. So this
So,
is
I
what
mean,
we
it's
can do.
not. I mean, it's not possible if I give you like every other proof, like the video, the
No, no,
letterhead, and
no.
everything.
It will be
The
still be
data
rejected
has
because
to
the
be there.
data has to be there. It can be cooked. So that is why proof of originality, ethical related integrity, whichever is there, we never compromise on that. So that is why I said no videos and images reject, no proof reject. Even how much ever well a project is done, it is reject.
Okay.
Okay. The next question, please fill in the feedback. Vinay Kasundan, Tejaswini, Anmar.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
So recently I visited one of my uncle's bakery factory and asked about him business and the problems. He said
Mhm.
that some of his problem declining sales and the increasing labor costs
Mhm.
and many more. Sir, but when I ask him the data, sir, he says that he does not have any proper data. He retains some of the data in his notebook or registered, but in a very
Mhm.
rough way.
Yeah, that's what. So now what you can do is that is what the best part about unstructured business is, right? So basically, when it is like that, what you could do is go with your sheet of paper, kind of do it in a form, and then say that when you're doing it for the next month, why don't you do it in this way? Give them a paper. They definitely won't use computers and all that. Give them a sheet of paper with columns written nicely printed, lightly printed, and tell them to make entries this wise. Okay, and then what you could do is kind of run that analysis. That is when it becomes better.
Sir, he have some of the previous data. Sir, I have to collect the previous data or I have to provide
depends
the sheets and
depends
make a
depends
latest
on the
data.
depends upon what problem are you wishing to solve. Okay, suppose the problem that you wish to solve is based on the past data, then it is past. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Suppose if it is to make an assessment of the previous quarters, then you need past data. That time you cannot go with the present data.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, I'm a second year college student. Suppose I connect with an unstructured business and analyze their business, try to find their problem statement, then finally collect data and work with them. But
Mhm.
isn't there a chance that they would be reluctant to implement the exact problem statement which we said?
No.
Also,
You're identifying the problems from them itself. Okay. And
okay,
implementation is something which is left to them. They may want to implement, they may not want to implement. For example, this vegetable vendor example which I gave you,
yes, sir.
the person was also very hesitant. They were very scared and all that. But later,
Okay,
once the results were evident, the moment like in 2 weeks, the results started coming, they were like, okay, they were like very clear that what is that, they could see the things, right? I mean, seeing is believing at the end
yes,
of the day.
yes, sir.
So then they were very confident and they even gave an interview and said how it benefited them, so on and so forth. So first thing is
Okay,
that it is a stepwise process. Not everybody will trust you right away, right? Only once you
yes,
give them something. Quid pro quo, why did we keep that name? In exchange you give something. In exchange you
yes,
get
sir.
something and you give something. That is what the basic idea is.
Okay, sir, suppose the worst case they are not ready to implement a solution,
It is
so we
okay. I
won't
mean,
be
as long
able.
as no, it is okay. Implementation is not the. We don't ask for implementation. We say that for the
Okay,
problem you have to provide solution. Implementing or not is left for business, right? We don't ask for
okay,
implementations. You can
okay,
say this is what you could do. Implementing is not or left to them. Like for example, when we take feedback forms, feedback. There will be one two candidates who will tell me this was the worst session. This is not done. That is not done. So on and so forth. I cannot please everybody. We live in a profession where we cannot please everyone. So I try to do what I think is the best. And for that reason, we create a lot of documents and keep live sessions and we do this. We cannot please everyone. So I think if I think it is something which I can do, I will implement. If there is something which I think I cannot implement, I will not do it. That's it.
Okay. Sir, I was just thinking it would not be evident that we have made a difference to the society since our results are not visible yet.
No. It will actually make a impact. What happens is this is a stage gate process. It will take time, and once you do it and win their trust, you will be able to see that you should develop a bonding. See, the most important mistake which we all do is that we do the project and then run away, don't want to be in touch with anybody, so on and so forth. That is, we only look at our own benefits, but what really matters is how much you're in touch with them, whether this is a long term relationship, you understand. That is
Yes,
very
sir.
much important. That is, that human element or empathy is missing. As long as that and all is not there, you cannot do anything. Only when you know them better and all that, when they're very much interested, when you're caring, they are also caring, that is how you build human relationships, right? So if you have better relationships, they may actually trust you more and want to try that out. That is how it
Okay.
is. That is how it make. So this lady did actually that way. She struck a chord, a good bond was built, and that bonding made them experiment that. Until that, they were even hesitant to speak out.
Okay. Okay,
Yes.
sir. Thank you.
Okay. Anmar Kausto Das Krishna Kumar.
Thank you, sir. My question is, once I have finalized 2 or 3 problem statements for my proposal and submitted it, and that has gotten approved. Now, while I'm working on my midterm submission, I'm analyzing the data. If I come up with some new problem, can I now include that in my midterm submission, or I'm now
Yeah,
bound
you
to
can
release
you
it?
can you can include, provided it is the same business. That's fine. That's not a problem.
Okay, and these submissions which we are doing, this midterm and final submissions, and the in the Viva we have PowerPoint submissions. Should we
No. It's in
leave
Word
it?
document. Word document. It's all Word
Okay,
document.
okay. So no, I mean in the Viva, I think we are presenting the
Viva is in a presentation format.
yeah. So I'm asking, this should be technical oriented or business oriented?
Business oriented. I've given everything. Read the rubrics. Everything is there.
Okay.
Yeah, and Abdul Jawad, yes, I mean, I'm a doctor of philosophy, so I mean, that is what it
Sorry,
is.
that.
No, not you. I think I saw a comment there that there should be a session on philosophy. I'm actually PhD means doctor of philosophy, right? So that's how it is. Okay, so that's how it is.
Thank
Okay,
you very much for your
no
time, doctor.
problem.
Thank you.
Kaustav,
Hello, sir.
yeah.
Sir, suppose we collect daily data from an unstructured business and do data cleaning for my analysis purpose. And then, sir, you said that in midterm we need to submit that data. Sir, which data I need to submit, that daily collected data or the clean data which I use for
Everything,
my
everything,
analysis?
everything, everything,
Okay, I need
everything.
to. Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
Sir,
Yeah, tell me.
sir, I have approached the petrol pump station which is near to my house, sir. Is it
Mhm.
okay? Business
Yeah.
or
Works. Anything is fine. Anything on your vicinity is fine. The first step is not to ask for data. The first step is to ask the problems that they are facing. And petrol bunks have a lot of problems.
okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
Okay,
Then
sir.
Ajit Kumar, Bharavi, Harsh Gautam, Rajat Goyal.
Okay, thanks, sir.
Yeah.
So basically, I was asking at that point of time that if we have collected some literature review which came from out of the survey and out of the data, I'm still trying to think if I can run another survey to quantify it. But if that doesn't happen, should I mention it? Because
No, I
sometimes.
mean, see, the thing is, if you're very serious about your projects, like we worked with some 3 4 students on their projects where it went beyond what do you say, the so-called BDM Capstone project as well. In such cases, we have given them a special provision also. Okay, so suppose like if you're very keen and want to take it to the next level, like we had. Anupam Chandra, who is very active on Discourse, and he did a fantastic job. And in fact, he did something above and beyond. And in such cases, we exercised. I mean, by my authority, I can exercise special provisions for that. Something if you want to do above and beyond, we can consider it. I mean, we can even consider going. I mean, something beyond that as well. That's not a problem.
So should I mail you, sir, what I'm thinking, or at the proposal stage I can mention what I'm
Yeah,
thinking?
you at the proposal stage you mentioned, so we will give you our insights on what can be doable. See, there are two things, Ajit. See, the thing is, what is your objective, end objective? Your end objective is, for some, the end objective is to get a degree. For some of them it is learning. Okay, if it is learning, and for some it is both, right? So if it is both, then what you could do is that you can work parallelly. As in, when you want something, you can always reach out to us. That's not a problem. You can indicate it that this is what you plan, and then you can write in brackets subject to, what do you say, availability. However, this is the key thing that will be done. This is a secondary objective which you plan to subject to availability.
Got it.
Okay,
Thank
so that is what you have to do. Please fill in the survey forms. There are 78 of you, but I just got like 50 feedbacks. Please fill in. At least I should be getting 100 feedbacks. Okay. Next one is Bharavi.
Sir, one small, not doubt exactly, but since we're in the project proposal submission phase and there's still ample amount of time before the submission, is it possible I could send my submission on mail
No,
beforehand to you?
no. There is no provision where we check it before. For everybody, the rule is the same. You have to upload it in portal and it will be accessed by the TAs only. I mean, so if you have doubts prior to that, you attend Aditya's session on Sunday, because I take only 2 sessions. I mean, I take 1 session in a month max. So Aditya takes, for that reason, Aditya takes, what do you say? Aditya takes sessions every Sunday. So you attend there, ask him the doubts there.
Done, sir. It was only with respect to whether the idea is appropriate with
Yeah,
respect to
so
the
you,
project or
that is
not.
where, yes, exactly. So that is where you have to attend the Sunday session. Aditya is there every day. So the link, Ravi can't put that, this thing, Aditya will put it on the calendars. Otherwise, you guys make a group and circulate amongst yourself and check how it is. I am not aware of it. I only take like 2 key sessions because of my commitments, not more than 2 sessions, but on emails or discourse, I'm available. Yeah, but
Yes, sir.
my 2 key sessions tend to be the main sessions, but other doubt clearing and things, I don't have the bandwidth, and Aditya does that.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Harsh Gautam, Rajat Goyal.
Yeah. Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, actually, I came along an institutional problem. Like, it's an engineering institute, and they want to increase their mechanical engineering branch admission. Is it a valid statement for
No.
me to work?
No.
And why
No.
not, sir?
No, I mean, see, I mean, this is a live session, so let me not kind of this thing. It depends on the kind of institute it is, what kind of, careers the students would be getting, what is the ranking, what is the perception of the students about that college. Many factors come into consideration. Okay. There are many colleges, right? So I don't know what is the ranking of the institute, so on and so forth. So there should not be a misleading information which is being sent from this one. Whatever information or claims that you make has to be correct claims. If you're making some claims which is not right, it is not good actually. So that is why I wouldn't recommend that.
Sir, it's a government institute.
Government institute, then fine. Then it is fine. Then you see how it is, what could be done, to increase the attractiveness. Survey is a better method for you.
Yeah, sir. I think about that.
Then
Actually, it's a state government institute.
Yeah, then it is fine. So you go for surveys. That is my suggestion. That go with the surveys. I think it should be helpful.
And sir, I came along on another statement that it's a simple Kriana shop, and the worker wants to increase their wages, but the profit of the founder is like same for the last 2 to 3 years.
Work on this one, actually. Work on this one. This is going to make a difference.
But sir, how can I collect the data? It's very
that is what
unorganized.
it is. Unorganized. That is what the challenge is, right? The fun is in collecting data from unorganized sector. Go to them, struck a chord with them, give them a piece of paper, see how they are collecting data, see what you can write, give them a piece of paper, tell them, can you do it in this way? Or ask them, if you have books, can you tell me what it is? Note it down, come back to your home, load it on Excel, do it. The satisfaction that you get out of that is something which is good. If he's having the same profits, it is an indicator that he's not doing something more. Okay, it is a danger sign. It is going to go down negative next year, not positive side.
Okay, sir, just let's suppose I'm not able to convince them. So can I work on the institutional data?
School day. Yeah, you can. No problem.
Thank you, sir.
No problems.
Okay.
Rajat Goyal.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Actually, sir, I have worked in I own a web services company, and I've been working in it for past 15 years. And I have in touch with many organizations for which I have worked. So I can convince many people to give me the data, and I can talk to them. It's not a big thing. But the challenging problem that I am seeing that I want to work is, like, my wife is into online education field. So she uploads video on YouTube for NEET preparation. She's a biology teacher. And the thing is, she has uploaded around 600 to 700 videos. And she's not getting traction. And she doesn't know what to do. And I'm not getting into it. So
Okay.
can I somehow help her out?
You do that. That is a better one. I would suggest you help your wife. In
Okay,
fact,
so
when there is something which is with you, you go for that. In fact, it is doable. It depends on the. I'm assuming that the quality of the videos is good and it is really adding value. If that's the case, then you should definitely go for it.
sir, all the comments are very positive. What I
Then you
see
should go for it.
from, but
Yeah,
the
then you
thing
should
is
go for
that,
it.
sir, the data that I will be getting is just from YouTube, or
That's okay. That's okay. I mean, try to. There are different ways of promotions. That is where the market research book will come in handy for you. I gave you the case of Vijay Ram Coffee. No, see how it was done there.
okay, 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 sir.
Go back and
So
see what he did to kind of convince, do it. You kind of share it with people. You have schools where you can say that people can go and have an access at this thing, promote that, create an awareness among. See, these days there are so many YouTubers, right? So
uh-huh.
many, it is loaded with information. So if you
Right.
think it is good, it starts from schools. Schools could be the start points, that good biology classes, free of cost, available. Why don't you go and have a look at it? And that is how you can increase the traffic. So
Okay.
because you have to understand who are the primary target customers, and it is the
Okay.
students. So that is why I would not subscribe to it, right?
Okay.
So you
Mhm.
should know who the target audience is and then reach out to the target audience. So
Right,
that
sir.
is the answer for you.
So,
Okay.
sir, data will be around 500 to 600
It
videos.
will be great. So no problem. It will be a
500,
good one.
600 videos where data will be enough.
Yeah, enough. More than enough.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
no problem. Shabas.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask the local grocery and other shopkeepers speak in Hindi, and if we
Not a problem.
take
Not a
an
problem.
interview.
No,
Okay.
no, not at all a problem. Speak in any language that you want. It's perfectly fine. When we wrote this document on problem identification, we spoke in 6 languages. We
Okay,
spoke
sir.
in Konkani, we spoke in Hindi, Tulu, Tamil, all languages we have used, 6 languages, and that is how we digged out all this.
So, sir,
So
we
any
don't have
languages.
to provide any translation English in the
No,
subtitles,
no,
like.
no. I mean, briefly, you can just summarize that this is what was discussed
Okay, sir.
in
And
in the
sir,
Word document. Yeah.
is there any recorded lecture of yours on how to make them comfortable and how to do pitch?
Yeah. I think I shared that link here. I don't know where it is. I shared my link, I guess. Yeah, it's here. But I'll take those classes again. My schedule is tight, but this is what it is. You can go and see this. I think this should be helping you guys out. But I will do this. This is not completely in detail. I mean, but it kind of gives you an idea what is expected out of you guys.
And sir, what was the letter you were talking about that will be issued to us? A
That will
letter.
be given by the support team. It will be loaded saying that you are doing this particular project, and that you are a student of this IITBS program. You'll be doing the project, and I mean, they encourage businesses to share data so that they get some novel insights.
Okay, thank you, sir.
No problem. And the final question, Anmar Sajid Ali.
Last question, sir.
Yeah.
I was asking if I have like three problems identified in my proposal stage.
Mhm.
Can in the final stage can I come up with this, that my first solution for problem one is this, solution for problem two is this, but for
Yeah.
problem three, this organization will not be able to solve it with their limited resources.
Yeah, you can
Because
you
I
can
want
do
to
that.
be,
Yeah,
so
you can
that
do it.
would be
Yeah, you
and
can.
and one more thing I wanted to ask was, if one of my submissions is rejected, does that result in loss of marks? When
No.
again,
Submission rejected is 0 marks, so it will be evaluated fresh. No worries.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So
Again,
I
thank you
think
very much for your time.
no problem. Any other questions?
No, that's it from my side. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Any other questions anybody has? I still have some 10 minutes for you guys. So at the beginning, you guys were asking me why it is 3 hours long. I hope you realized now why it is 3 hours long. Yes, Dhruv.
Hello, sir. I wanted to ask if it would be feasible if I don't show the face of the owner because he's very conscious about disclosing his identity.
No, I mean, in that case, some other things has to work, right? If not the face, there are other proof that has to be in line. If that is possible, it's okay.
So, but I have a video, but like he's not like ready to show his face. He's saying that I'll talk to you, but just don't show my face.
That's no. See, the thing is, in that case, the other like pictures and letters, all that would be needed. No, so your proof of originality is not just one point. That is why we have asked for 4-5 documents, and when we check 4-5, if one is failing, the other 4 has to click.
What sort of documents? Because he has
Proof
a
of originality. Proof of originality. Check the PDF document.
but like you're asking for a document from the owner or
No,
later.
I've written what is needed in proof of originality. Check that.
Okay. And sir, also about the problem statements. If the problem statements are like common among different projects, it's not like because uh, one of the problems he was talking about was that he almost uses his intuition to guess what would be the demand in the future. So
Yeah,
maybe
it cannot go on intuition. That is what is the most common mistake which people do. Intuition is that is why we have forecasting and other techniques, right? So intuition is, you cannot do business based on intuition. It works for some time, but not every time.
so
You
yes,
need
sir.
facts and figures.
So if the problem statement is to forecast the demand, it's like it will be shared among different people because a lot of people will be doing a similar sort of problem statement. So it won't be like everyone is doing the same thing.
No, it is specific to your business, right?
Okay.
It is specific to your business. See, what we are saying is, if it is specific to your business, obviously data set will be different. About the business is different. The product service portfolio is different. Company is different. Customers are different. Yes, how it will be the same.
Answer about the sharing of the data. The data, the clean data should be shared, or you want the
Both,
like.
both. Everything. Raw data, clean data, final data.
Okay. Sir, basically what has happened is that he's unsure about his online business trends. So he
Mhm.
has shared his information about his portal. He has given
Okay.
me his login details.
Mhm.
So I'm using an API
Mhm.
to extract details about different
Yeah,
orders.
whatever is available, you take a dump, then you clean it. You say, what, this was the raw data, this was the clean data. If suppose the data itself that you're getting is clean, then you can say that this is the clean data that you've got from the dump. That's it.
Okay, but the data I'm getting is like in the form of a JSON dictionary. So it's like uh,
I'll
because it
have to see it. I will have to see it before I can comment on it. Okay, so
it,
if
it, it, it is like all the because I'm using an API, so like the raw data is like not in not in legible form. Like I would have to clean it to give like
yeah, you have to clean and give it to us. That's what you can say, that this is in this form and this is what cleaning you have done and this is the final outcome. That is what you're supposed to do.
what if I just share like the portal image of different orders, like from where I am extracting the data.
No, that is fine, but we need to check, no, final file that you have used to do the analysis. I would need that to check your graphs, right? So suppose you have done some graphs. How do I
Okay.
check it? It is not with the screenshots. Screenshots can be extracted from anywhere. So what I would be doing is that the sheets that you've given, I would kind of check with that and then do it.
Okay, so it's the data for 3 years. So it's like, do you want like?
No, you can give representative one. The latest one you can give.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.